make sure we get myself in there. Yeah, that's good. So we're live. Get my microphone up here. Yep, I don't got that. I got all the microphones working. I'm going to check to make sure live is working on, because we're at 8:07. Still got about 8 minutes before McCauley will join us. So I'm going to get in my chair and make sure the YouTube's working. I'll put that over there for YouTube. We got that. We can get rid of this. All right, let's see. I got to make sure I sit up. It's like when I slouch, it's not a good thing. All right, let's see what's happening on YouTube. We'll go to YouTube. All right. YouTube. Scotchy Bourbon Boys. It says we're live. It's a good thing. Ooh, looking good tonight. Let's make sure the sound's working. All right, sound is working. Now let me do my intro. Welcome everybody to our podcast. Make sure you let us know what you're drinking. Where you're from and what you're sipping on. And get your questions asked with super chats. All right. There's the welcome. We got somebody watching already. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's cool. All right, put this there. We monitor comments and super chats, but if you want to talk to McCauley tonight, just let me know, and we will. We are going to monitor the super chats, and also we will monitor. Hey, Scott, good to see you. Almost dry January over. All right, so what do I got to do? I got to do quickly. I got to do our sponsors. Whiskey Thief Distilling Company in Frankfort, Kentucky, where they're on the Three Boys Farm, working farm. There is a barn with a still. You go down a long dirt road and you get down to the distillery, and they've got a wide open field. They've got, in the summertime, it's fantastic. In the wintertime, they got heaters also. They are open 7 days a week, all day, every day. I mean, it's just like, it is crazy. But, you know, on the farm, they've got a food truck, and they got live music on the weekends, you know, during the main season. But also remember that the main reason why you're there is their fantastic whiskey. It's all barrel proof. It's uncut, unfiltered. You get for the price of admission, you get a tour of the distillery. Then you get to go to 5 barrels, usually a rye, a wheat, and 3 bourbons. The bourbons range between 4 and 8, even sometimes 10 years. They had their 10-year just recently. And you get to get a sample. It comes with the take-home glass. You get a sample, and they let you taste from each of the barrels. And if you like one, you get to thief with the Whiskey Thief right into your own bottle. You can get a 375. You can get also 750. It doesn't matter. It's a barrel pick all day, every day. Just check out Whiskey Thief. They also have their Louisville, Nulu area tasting room. Same thing. Price of admission gets you in. You get to taste 5 different barrels. Same thing, bottle, whatever. You know, bottle it yourself, not whatever, but, you know, thief it and fill your own bottle. And then also live music at the tasting room. Fantastic venue. You got to get there. Whiskey Thief's just like the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, uncut and unfiltered. Middle West Spirits in Columbus, Ohio. You got to check them out. Ryan down there has done a great job. They've got their original craft distillery, still open for tours, and their service bar restaurant, but they are building an unbelievable experience. 72,000 square foot distillery, plus they're going to have shops and restaurants. They're in phase 2 as far as getting that open right now, but you got to check out Middle West Spirits. But their strength is their bourbon and what they're putting in this bottle. They've got their cask strengths, Michelob brand, and the Michelob brand is fantastic. They've got their cask strength pumpernickel rye. They've got their cask strength wheat whiskey and their cask strength 4-grain wheated bourbon on the shelves in 48 different states. If you see it, get it. Fantastic. Good price, delicious bourbon. Middle West Spirits, Columbus, Ohio. Then we've got the William Dalton. Then we've got the Spirit of French Lick down there. Alan Bishop, who also is part of our sponsorship that I'll be telling you about soon. This is his whiskey. He distilled it. He's gone there from now, but his whiskey's still there. You got to get down there. They've got William Dalton, Solomon Scott Rye. They've got their Lee W. Sinclair 4-grain bourbon, and they've got their Matty Gladden bourbon, along with their William Dalton wheated bourbon, 4-grain wheated bourbon. Fantastic, fantastic. They're doing a great job. Brooklyn and Laureline are doing a great job. So check out the Spirit of French Lick in French Lick, Indiana. And if you stop by, tell them Tiny sent you. And then that takes us to Alan Bishop. He's going to be on the podcast February 13th. 17th, Tuesday, February 17th, and we'll find out what's happened with him at Old Homestead. Going to have some samples, working on getting some samples sent up, and we'll see what's happening there. Plus, you got to remember, Alan Bishop has the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute and a fantastic YouTube channel that answers all your home distilling and commercial distilling questions. Fantastic. If you ask a question, there's a good chance he'll do a video and respond from your questions. One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute on YouTube. And then also, if you have ghosts, you have everything. That is by far the best podcast. If you have ghosts, you have it combines the best of the spiritual world and the spirits world industry. So you've got ghosts and bourbon. What more can you ask for? So anyways, Rhode AI meaning notes approve.
Recording in progress.
That's recording. Record to this computer. All right, we're recording. There we go. This meeting is being recorded. Okay. There we go. I'm going to this is not, yeah, that's good. Everything's set. Chats. We already have one person in the chat. McCauley added a Rode AI meeting. Okay. So, and then let me see. Here we go. I see there's a reading notes. He's not joining. Hopefully he will. All right. I'm hoping that he is going to jump in too. He's there and we're recording, but hopefully he jumps in. He can jump in any time. Let's go to chats. We got chats right there. Nope, that's fine. Everyone, just waiting for McCauley to get in from the normal. I'll be able to see that. I could see he came in on the meeting notes, but I hope that, we'll see. That's beyond me, but if we go a couple minutes and he doesn't pop in, I'll check that out. I can hit my view to make sure. Nope, I don't want myself feel. He'll override me. All right, we're ready. All the stuff has been sold. Yep, here he comes. Hey, McCauley.
What's happening?
Hey, perfect. You came in perfectly. Sound's working and everything. So, it's great to meet you.
You as well, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Just want to let you know a little bit. We are on Facebook and YouTube Live. So, I like to I think you probably read that in the email because you responded, but just make sure because sometimes.
No cussing. No. What are the rules?
Oh no, this is a whiskey podcast. There's cussing. You can say.
21 and up.
Oh yeah,
I love
yeah. It's not made for kids, and kind of we try not to do it. I think it's the first 7 minutes you try not to say anything, but once you get past that 7 minutes, then they don't. Then the advertisers don't care.
Perfect.
So we're gonna just a real quick thing that gets what the way it works is we do the Facebook and the YouTube live. We get it going, and I don't do anything like music or anything. I just kind of give everybody like the pre-podcast aspect of it. Just I'm live doing stuff to get it ready. It's shared to a lot of whiskey groups so that you get the best coverage, and people who are interested will be able to join in. So we're probably being shared right now by like 150 whiskey groups between me and my other Super Nash, who's also on the podcast, but normally
Awesome.
he's on it normally, but he just went through a heart procedure, so he's taking it easy on all aspects of life. He's cutting down on everything. You go through a heart procedure, that can do it to you, right?
For sure.
But the main part of what we're going to be doing as far as the podcast goes, where it's like the main podcast that I record the audio for, what happens is there's a brief, like a 45-minute sponsor ad that we don't hear, and then once that kicks in, we kick in our theme song, and right after the theme song goes, then we start the podcast. When it finishes up, we have another kind of an AI song, which is a theme song. The first theme song is Kenny Fuller. He wrote it. He used to work at Luca Mariano at one point, but he wrote it for us. So we're kind of proud that someone actually wrote a song about the podcast and us. But once we finish up, we kind of do our exit, speech, and then we go from there and play the one song, and then the podcast's over, but we're still live on Facebook and YouTube. And what we like to do is invite some people in, we throw it out on Facebook, whoever's listening at the end, and if they want to join in to ask questions, we allow them. Now, if you're short on time, you can, once it's over, you can go. But if you want to take some questions from people, but it sometimes goes, they talk a lot, but it's like when you're ready to go, just let everybody know it's no big deal. It's like if you answer some questions, if you don't, anything's, it's any way you want to do it.
Love it.
Okay. So, all right, we're about 8:20. Usually we like to start it at 8:30. So, the great thing about, let's see, yeah, a lot of people are watching tonight. That's decent.
Yeah.
Any questions for me?
Well, you don't look that tiny, so how did you get that name?
How did I get my nickname? Actually, this is a nickname that was given to me. I actually, before I even moved to Ohio, I lived my first 40 years in Wisconsin. And I was a commercial artist, so worked on some high end. When computer graphics were like on $1 million computers, we had a studio, and I worked on a lot of commercial graphic type stuff. I was a computer graphic artist, and my cousin. I was tall. wasn't as big as I am now, but I was big. So he nicknamed me Tiny. So I kind of had that nickname for a while, but it was more personal, kind of not out there. But then when I moved to Ohio, I had a fine art career and did this is where I learned how to podcast. I was doing an art podcast on YouTube. And then when I started going into doing the bourbon podcast, I just was like, everybody was getting nicknames, and I just went with Tiny because if you introduce yourself as Jeff, I mean, Jeff is a vanilla name, and people don't remember that easy. But me being a big guy, calling myself Tiny, and I go by it a lot. It's even transferred into my actual life, so you remember that. It's kind of like I did a podcast with Jeff last night, or I did a podcast with Tiny, and then they're like, "What?" So that's how I got the nickname.
Love it. What kind of fine art are you doing, bro?
I was as far as the fine art goes, I did a combination between it was a social media multimedia project where I basically went to events, captured it on I used a video camera to videotape some of the events, and then I would take pictures with that video camera, which was a little bit lower res. It wasn't high res. And I would capture the event. And then while you were at the event and you were looking for something to describe that event, there'd always be something that would happen that I'd take pictures of that I would think of that I could go back and make a painting of it. So I would paint in Photoshop, use my skills to combine maybe one or two pictures together to make it, compositionally correct. And then I'd print it out on 40 by 60 or 30 by 60 canvases, and then I would paint over the top with acrylics to make it, because when you're working on a screen, there's large screens, but when you see it 40 by 60, there's some stuff you would be like, well, I want to change, but you already just spent $400 on a canvas, so I would go in and make all the changes with conventional art. So I did that. So I was basically going to different markets or art openings, like an art opening, and capturing the event and then painting it. And then what I'd do the whole time is I'd promote it on social media.
Cool.
So it was a lot of fun.
Well, I got to warn you on the front end. I am stuck in a lot of ice here in Tennessee. It's my background. This was not the original plan. And at any minute, my 4.5-year-old son could just come screaming in here, and
that's the kind of podcast you're on. No big deal.
Just giving you that heads up. I heard that little pitter patter of steps somewhere in the house. It's like in Jurassic Park. You see the water glass start shaking. You're like, oh God, here he comes.
Don't worry. So I have my granddaughter. She stays, and she's been doing, I've been doing the podcast for 7 years. She's 9. She's going to be 10 in March. So she lived with us for a long time, and then now she lives with her father and everything because they lived whatever. But there was a podcast about 2-3 years ago when she was 5 or 6. She was upstairs, and normally the reason why I did it, there's 2 reasons I do 8:30, because she would be in bed. And 2, that we have a certain amount of foreign people who watch on YouTube, and so the later the better, because they start coming on around 9 o'clock, and then it peaks at 12 a.m. So you can kind of see this mainly in India. There's a lot of people who watch on India on YouTube. So if you do it earlier, you don't get it. It's more American, but So, anyways, beside the point, I'm doing this and I'm doing the podcast and I'm down here, and I kind of out of the corner of my eye caught something on the floor that moved. My daughter has a dog. Okay, so yeah. I'm looking like this, looking at the bottle. I'm going like this, and I catch it right there. I'm like, and then I kind of, this monitor was over here at the time. I could see a reflection of something in the, there was like a couple glass things there. And I was wondering, is it the dog? And then right down here, her face pops up. And she scared it's so funny. I looked at it, I went back, I actually made a short of it because the horror on my face, and it made her cry because I was like, oh! because I thought I didn't know what it was, and all of a sudden I see a human being's face. I thought it was maybe my daughter had come over with her dog or whatever. It's just like the most bizarre kind of thing. So don't worry about having your 4-year-old. And then CT, who's on the podcast from time to time, part of our group, he has a dog that I will tell you, he's a giant coonhound, and he'll howl or he'll come in and say hi. So we're just hanging out.
Let's go. I love it.
Yep. Just a couple more minutes and we'll get going. And then, like I said, I don't like to always ask questions of you, so you have to answer them again. Because you know what I mean? So.
Fire away, bro. All good.
So have you done a lot of podcasts or?
I've done a fair amount.
Okay. So you're
nowhere near as skilled as you are. I'm a rookie still.
Sometimes you have your better days where everything just will go smooth, and you'll have technical days. I mean, that's just the way it is. I think we've done I think we're like at 555 podcasts over the last 7 years. So.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't like to do a lot of editing, so it's just that's what it is. I'm not trying to be Bourbon Pursuit or Fred Minnick. They already cover that pretty well. We just kind of want to have we just keep getting bigger and bigger, and it's organically.
One of those watches have Indian time? What's going on there?
Where? Oh, 2 watches? It's like, okay, so this is a bourbon barrel, wood, so I've been wearing that, but this one gives me what I want and more of what I want to do, and it's hooked to my phone. So what I wore this tonight because a lot of times I'm using all the cameras for everything, my phones, my main camera for YouTube. The reason why I have an iPhone 17 Pro is because it's my video camera, and then it just made sense that it could be a phone. And then I've got my other one monitoring the YouTube. I've got my computer, but this will tell me if someone calls, like who's calling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've had Super Nash call in, and I'll take the call. I've actually taken calls that people call in, so it gives me that ability. So that's why I got 2 watches.
Let's go. I love it.
All right, so I think I'm
interviewing you at this point.
What?
Said I'm interviewing you at this point.
That's okay. It was the in between, so we're ready to go. I'm going to start the recording here, and we'll get going.
Let's get started. Drinking bourbon, sipping on some scotch. We get a little wild, but it's sure fun to watch. We love what we do, we're drinking every brew. Man, we talk some shit, but we're telling the truth. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon boys, raising hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon boys, we're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun, yeah.
All right. Welcome back to another podcast of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. So, tonight we're joined by a very special guest. It's McCauley Williams, CEO of Morningside Brands and co-founder of Duck Club Bourbon, or
That's
actual
right.
founder.
Co-founder.
Co-founder. Okay. Okay. And tonight we're going to dive into what makes Duck Club stand out in today's bourbon world, how it came together, and then also you have a partnership with the brand Riley Green, right?
Well, Riley Green's a person, but yeah, he's the other co-founder. Yeah.
Oh, he is the co-founder. So you actually co-founded it with him. Okay,
Right.
I did not know that. I thought he kind of was. That filled in something for me right there. So welcome to the podcast. It's great to
Thank you.
it's great to have you here. So initially, when I put it this way, how new is Duck Club? I mean, honestly, because it's funny because AI allows me to do a lot more extensive research than what I'm normally doing. So I even have I've got Meta glasses. Sometimes I wear them on because it'll be like my assistant, but like I can't see the screen. So when I'm having a guest on, I don't wear the sunglasses because it's like then I can't see you. But at the same time, it'll tell you a lot about, I learned a lot about you and about the brand, but like you said, Riley's the co-founder, so that's kind of cool to know. And then but also I was looking for, well, when did it get released or where, and it kind of wasn't out there. So how long have you guys been doing this?
We're brand new, man. We launched the Friday before Thanksgiving
Okay.
in select markets in Arkansas and Tennessee and South Carolina. And now we're rolling out. So like this is hot off the press.
Okay. So, all right. So what I a little bit of, so you were in the legal profession, you were a lawyer, right?
That's right.
So how does, and was it because you had been associated legally with the distilling industry that made you want to do this, or how the heck do you go from being a lawyer to launching your own brand of whiskey with Riley Green?
It's a great question. Yeah, we're jumping some steps, man. So I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I've launched several brands. So I left the practice of law 9 years ago.
Okay.
I'm still a licensed lawyer here in Tennessee, but I created a brand called Blue Note Bourbon first.
Okay.
Back in the day. I left the practice of law actually. Well, starting in 2016, I started to get into the bourbon barrel investment fund side of the industry. So supply side, inventory management side. And in 2018, we created and launched Blue Note Bourbon, and then
Juke joint? Yes.
you join all of them. We
All of
started
them.
actually with a 9-year bourbon sourced out of
We-
Cascade Hollow, and it grew from there, man. And then Juke Joint, I think we rolled that out in 2020.
I love that.
Uh,
I love that.
and we've grown it since. And so in January 7th of 2022, I left the company. I was one of the founders and CEO of the company, and I started my new company called Morningside Brands.
Okay.
And with Morningside, we're building a portfolio of premium spirits. I went into the tequila space. I launched a brand called Alma del Jaguar Tequila, which is still in our portfolio, and then a brand called Waymar Gin. And under Morningside, again, we're building a portfolio of brands across spirit categories, all in the premium sector, with unique branding and brand identity. And we just launched, I got back into the bourbon space just this past November, and we launched Duck Club in advance of duck season.
Okay. So you being associated with Blue Note, I mean, we've actually done a podcast on the line, I mean, it's been a while, but it was very favorable because Super Nash, who, like I said, had the heart thing. I wish he would be here right now because um, he basically had purchased pretty much all of them, and so he poured me up 2 ounce samples, and I had like 8 2-ounce samples of each and every, and we went through, I think, and we tasted everything. And I have to admit, the juke joint was great, and it was the tornado batch too, right? There was the tornado batch of juke joint that was just like, I
It was
mean,
the warehouse collapse. It was technically like a straight line wind that blew the rick house over, but tornadic like activity, rick house collapsed. Talk about a sketchy situation and a crazy morning when you get that call.
yeah,
It was actually my buddies Ryan and Kenny at Bourbon Pursuit. So I helped them start their brand, Pursuit Spirits.
okay. So that makes more. You're filling in a lot of blanks for me right now.
Yeah, man, I've done this is probably brand like 15 in the alcohol space. Now, a lot of them were like private label, small, one-offy kind of stuff. And then with Bourbon Pursuit, it was I pitched them on the idea, and it had nothing to do with like the name or branding, but it was like, let me help create a bourbon for you from like the supply side. And it started off all as single barrels. Like they came up with the name Pursuit Spirits. It was all single barrel editions that we bottled here in Memphis, where I'm from. And then it just kind of grew and grew. But yeah, that Rick House collapse was nuts because I'm in Central Time Zone. They're in Louisville in the Eastern Time Zone, and so I'm at the gym and I get a text, and it's a video of the morning news in Louisville, like like a grainy pixelated video of, I think it was Ryan filming his TV, like holding his iPhone up to the TV to film it, of this rick house in Owensboro that has collapsed. And the company was called BR Distilling, the parent company to Blue Note. And at the end, like the ladies, like, Kimberly Smith signing off from Owensboro, Kentucky. And they zoom in on this huge monstrosity stack of barrels, 20,000 barrels, onto the one barrel on the very top of the pile. And you could see on the barrel head BR Distilling. And that was one of those, oh,
Shit.
bud moments out of my.
Oh,
And I'm like on the treadmill, and I like just went straight from the treadmill and got in my car and drove up there like directly. But anyways, yeah, that was a epic release, a great example in this industry how folks are resilient, will come up with really cool ways to turn what would most people would consider a loss, a travesty, into something positive. Because yeah, Mother Nature does some crazy stuff. Turns out when barrels are exposed with no roof and the summer rains and the heat and all that.
Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3. So the 2020 what that happened in 2022?
That all went down, I think, during COVID in 2020, and that was released in 2021.
Okay.
I am no longer associated in any way with the company, and we'll spare the details of it. But yeah, so it's been a minute, but we did some cool stuff while we were doing it.
Yeah, I'll just let I like once I had the first bottle from there, I was trading everything to get more bottles. I just absolutely loved that bottle. I mean, the one that was just the flavor on that juke joint. Oh my God, it was you did a good job with that.
Man,
So
we've been doing that's some OZ Tyler juice, bro. That's pre Green River, pre Bardstown, pre all that.
But they also that was like they weren't speeding it up, right? You were actually doing the stuff you were just aging normally in a rick house, right? Well, I mean, Green River, I mean, honestly, acquiring the stock. I mean, I know Aaron Harris, who's now the Green River Master Distiller. We're pretty good friends because I've known him throughout his whole career, and we got to taste through some of those barrels, and my God, that's some good whiskey. That was like, the legal part of it. There was some things that
Jacob Call, the original master distiller, was not the new guy. I don't know the new guy. Not that he's not amazing, but Jacob Call is a savant. I mean, a true master distiller at every level you want a master distiller to be, just like a true artist.
Well, they underestimated what, as far as the brand goes, what rapid aging actually means to people. Whereas, like it's ridiculous because they were doing that special thing where they were vibrating and everything, and then but if they wouldn't have promoted that and nobody knew, they would have been able to put it out at 4 years or whatever, and it probably would have been pretty good. It's just strange because it's funny because there's another distillery that rapid ages that they won't say they're rapid aging because they just a year is a year. It's Buffalo Trace. I mean, for God's sakes, they heat their warehouses. They heat them in the wintertime. It's a steam heat pipe system that Taylor did forever. And that's would be technically what you're calling, you're making the seasons, you're speeding them up. But, 7 year is a 7 year to them, but they put more stuff in it, and it kind of explains sometimes how good it is and why people like it.
I would, that's an interesting comparison because I would say the Ozzy Tyler, like, which again, Bruno never used that. Only like a handful of like private label brands I think ever were bought into that out of there. But yeah, this is like a machine that is pumping air and heat and vibration. It's a true mad scientist
thing.
I
Yeah.
hear you on the heating of the rick house. I'd say the heating of the rick house is a little more inbounds than the stuff that was like, clearly like, my book kind of out of bounds stuff. But yeah.
No, I get it. That was like a little bit more mad scientist than just heating and cooling or just heating your rick houses. But at the same time, the whole technical aspect of it is you're trying to get it in and out of the barrel more, and you're doing it artificially when you heat them. You know what I mean? And during the wintertime. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like, and Buffalo Trace won't say anything. They don't talk about it. So it's like the way to do it, because a year is a year, right? There's no such thing as rapid aging because a year is a year no matter what you do to it.
Well, so now I've been down, started off in bourbon in Tennessee whiskey, and have now done a number of spirits and learning the gamut into gin, which we've done some exotic finishes in gin, but really no maturation there. But in tequila, like our tequila brand is one of it's top 3 fastest growing tequila brands nationally in the country. And a lot of what's driving it is our aged categories and like really peeling back the layers of science of barrel maturation and understanding how different cooperage, different spirits will interact with oak. It's fascinating. And yeah, I always say there's 2 main pillars to maturation. You have extraction and oxygenation. Extraction, pulling flavor, color from the wood. Oxygenation is the barrel breathing in that aspect, not to be confused with oxidation. But when you rapidly age, or when folks throw off kind of the beautiful ratio that a 53-gallon barrel provides, the volume to surface area ratio that so a 53-gallon, so now I'm getting into like other world spirits, and now I've started to learn how to think in liters, which is a new phenomenon. But a 53-gallon barrel is a 200-liter barrel, and then a typical wine barrel is 225. between 200 and 225 liters, you're in this magical ratio of volume to surface area ratio that balances the extraction component with the oxygenation. And what so many of the rapid aging groups, not necessarily Buffalo Trace, mess up is that like perfect equilibrium of the two. So like it'll over extract but not oxygenate at the same ratio, and it takes both to harmonize to yield proper barrel profile. That's like across any, even wine. You know, it's just like kind of the golden rule, if you will, of maturation.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I would say, like Buffalo Trace, when you see the Sazerac, the length they go to be able to do what they're doing, the tests they've done, in wood and everything, they've been around long enough where they kind of know what the balance. You know, they know that balance has to be there, but they also, you know, just like all of the stuff that they're producing. I mean, their expansion. But you talk to them and it's just like they're like they've made the same type of rick house that all the originals are. They made like 7 of them, and then what they do is take the measurements of the temperature, the air pressure, and everything in the morning, and then of the original, and then they match it. They have a climate control that can match it and I'm just going, now that's just getting into the crazy aspect of it, but that's what they're doing.
We're off on tangents, but I mean,
Yep.
like, look, these guys, Buffalo Trace started in like 1999. They haven't been around very long.
This is true.
Bill Goldring, I like to say, so I'm an entrepreneur at heart and a brand builder, and I'm in the spirits industry. It's just my industry, what I do, because I've been doing this for like a decade now. I mean, there is nobody better at this game in this industry than Mr. Goldring and the Sazerac Company. I mean, which owns Buffalo Trace. I mean, these guys are on another level, and it's cool because they're domestic. They're based out of New Orleans. We got all these foreign conglomerates from France, London, wherever, Italy, getting in, and it's like I gotta tip my hat, man. Like these guys are really, really good at this from not only a production standpoint, but marketing, sales, like.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, the one of the key components of anything that you're doing in this industry is it became a collector's thing from a collector generation. And all I know is that all I've ever wanted since I was a kid is what I couldn't have. If I was collecting wacky packages, I wanted the rare one that you couldn't get. If I was collecting baseball cards, it was always the ones that you can't get. You know, you want the ones, the inserts. How do you get this? You know, how many times do we open up packages and we're always hoping for something? They give us something in a package that you can collect, and it's good. It's genius marketing, and it's the same thing with Buffalo Trace. It's like
they built an empire off of that.
Yeah.
You know, like it was the Fireball is the real moneymaker.
Oh yeah.
In their portfolio, and a lot of the other stuff, Burnett's vodka, all that. I mean, they have like 1,000 different brands, like legitimately 1,000 brands.
Yeah.
But the understanding that an early, way before anybody else in the industry got it, collectors, scarcity, story. I mean, they bought a lot. To my knowledge, I don't know of any like made up brand other than Buffalo Trace itself. Like all the other ones have true lineage.
Yeah.
That have epic stuff. So I as a startup kind of level guy in this space, like we look up to those that we think are doing. We can of course critique certain aspects, but we can also pick the elements that they crush at and are like really inspirational in. So anyways, we're off on some tangents.
Yeah, let's get going on. Let's get going talking about you, right? Yeah, but that's kind of we're just hanging, right? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Let's see. All right, so here's the first one. Duck Club Bourbon is a pretty fresh name in the market, right? So you're new. It built around the hunting culture and outdoor life. What inspired you guys to launch the brand with that kind of, it's personality of the Duck Club, the culture, the hunting culture, and then I was reading there was some aspect of uh, helping out wildlife kind of thing. Was that in there? Did I read that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll give you the quick rundown.
yep.
Now that we've sparred a little bit, I'll let you know I know a little bit about the industry. Man, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Like I mentioned, we're like the duck capital of the world. Ducks Unlimited is based here. A lot of the best duck hunting gear companies are headquartered here, and all the best duck hunting land in the world is within like a 150-mile radius of right here. And so my earliest, fondest memories growing up were duck hunting with my father and his friends. And duck hunting, duck season is from November till the end of January. It's obviously a heavily male dominated sport. It's cold, but duck hunting is unique compared to other forms of hunting. Like deer hunting is a great kind of antithesis of duck hunting. Deer hunting is a solitary venture. You go out in the woods, sit in your deer stand or deer blind with your bow or rifle, and it is a one man sport. Duck hunting is a group. You go out into a duck blind, and then there's typically a cabin or campsite, oftentimes referred to as a duck club, that they actually sell memberships to. And so it's all about camaraderie and fellowship. And if we think about what whiskey season, like we love to drink bourbon year round, but like whiskey's ultimate like season is that holiday, November through January, cold weather, fireplace weather. That's when whiskey just totally wins over every other category in terms of consumption occasion. So I started thinking about for my next brand, like what really meant something to me. I wanted to get back in the bourbon space. And to me, duck hunting is the most iconic whiskey-like occasion because of the camaraderie. You go out in the morning, you come back to the fire at the clubhouse or cabin. You're sitting there. It's the guys. It's like the neighborhood kids got together in the treehouse, but are now all grown up and they're middle aged. It's that kind of camaraderie, and there's other elements where you experience this. But I noticed that there really hadn't been a brand built around waterfowl hunting, which was so important to me. And then when looking at kind of the general market right now, there's so much aspirational desire from people that have never been hunting to be more outdoorsy. And our tequila brand, for some context, is all about the outdoors and jaguar conservation through a wildlife reserve my uncle founded in Mexico, and we shoot that and show that as an exclusively like outdoor camping, hiking, fly fishing, exploration type brand. So my mindset's already always all about like the outdoors. And so Duck Club was born from those experiences, and then it seemed to make a lot of sense. We say it's for the outdoorsman, the literal and aspirational. So think like Yeti coolers. Think how many people you know that have a Yeti cooler that have no business owning. Like unless you're a hunting or fishing guide, you don't need a Yeti cooler. Unless you're mountain climbing, you don't need Patagonia gear. But people rock all this stuff because that is aspirational branding and what it means to them. And so our bet and play with this brand is we think a lot of people will feel inspired and will want to be a part of this lifestyle, even if they're not actually hunters. And so through that, I was in Nashville. Like I said, I'm from here. I'm a ninth generation Tennessean. And I was in Nashville talking about like just the concept, the idea of Duck Club. And some buddies of mine, I was raising money, and some buddies of mine said that they knew Riley Green and his team. And I said, that's amazing. I've listened to his music. It's cool. I don't know anything about him personally, but like, he's super into duck hunting and he wants to get into the bourbon and the alcohol space. So that's really interesting. And then I noticed that his Instagram handle was Riley Duckman, and that he is all about duck hunting. And he's made ducks and duck hunting his personal brand image. He owns Riley Green's Duck Blind Bar in Nashville. And anyway, so I was able to get a meeting and then kind of said like, hey, this is what we're doing. Our buddies introduced us, like, is there any way we could work together? And yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen from that. And he's just like, I have to be involved in this. This is directly on brand for me. It's kind of like unbeknownst, like you were designing a brand, this is exactly how I would have done it kind of thing. And then we just hit it off. And started to think about how we could collaborate together, obviously with his influence, my spirits background. I've never done anything with a celebrity involved, never had any desire to really. And this one came about like super organically. And yeah, he's such a creative guy as a songwriter and so authentically into this space that had all kinds of ideas for how it should look. Our packaging is meant to be an homage to an old hunting magazine cover. So I got that damn blur effect on. It's an old hunting magazine cover or an old hunting sign.
Yeah, they're cool as hell.
Shell.
I love I got the teal lights on behind me because you got the teal.
Yeah.
I mean it's funny because when
I'm rambling. I'm gonna stop there. You start firing away more questions.
When
I gotta say the conservation aspect. So we work with Ducks Unlimited and Delta Waterfowl, the two largest wetland conservation and duck conservation organizations. We donate barrels, merchandise, and case goods for their auctions and fundraisers, and we've already raised like over 20-something thousand for wetland conservation just in a couple of events in the last 60 days.
That is, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing that. And duck hunting, it's not about just going out and slaughtering animals, right? It's about the camaraderie, finding beauty in the coldest, harshest elements, hanging out with your friends, making new ones. And, whiskey has quietly always been the unofficial drink of duck hunting. That's what, just to be clear, we don't ever support people going out drinking and shooting guns. It's all about the night before or the night after the hunt, right? When everybody's getting together, the camaraderie, obviously be responsible.
Well, it's no different. I fish, so I understand
you get it. You get that camaraderie aspect.
Well, and then it's because when you're not drinking when you're duck hunting. But Greg Schneider, who is a master distiller throughout, but he was Chicken Cock Whiskey. That was his last thing, and now he's at Four Branches. But good friend of the show, he's on tonight, and he worked for Wild Turkey.
Yep, I've met Greg.
Okay, so so he is a hunter extraordinaire. He goes turkey hunting, pheasant hunting. I'm sure he's duck hunted, and so he's fantastic guy. But he was just talking, first you were talking about the aging, and he's like aging in the 53-gallon barrel, and the whole, and then you started without knowing what he said, started talking about the perfect surface. And air volume. Yeah, now he gets into making barrels. He was making barrels there with
in West Virginia.
Yeah, and so that was some cool stuff that was happening. And then he was just bringing up the wild turkey aspect. So it's pretty.
Well, if Greg's listening, he probably doesn't remember, but I took a class from him at Moonshine University in 2017.
Okay.
And knew. And he's kind of he's kind of a badass, and you kind of know when you meet him.
Yes.
So I was like,
he's a man.
We had some interesting folks come in that you're kind of taking notes, and it's like being back in class, and then Greg comes in, and you're like,
yes, sir.
This guy, yes, sir. This guy's amazing.
Kindest individual. I mean, I consider him a personal friend, and everybody part of the podcast does too, also. And we've drank with him at his house many times. There's a restaurant in Indiana called Amore that we eat with all the time. The chef just is fantastic. It's the only restaurant in my life where I don't order. I just tell him to cook me whatever he wants to cook me.
Yeah.
Amazing. But getting back on, I did have a question, and we just went. I do love the artwork from the standpoint of what you were doing. It totally made sense. Now, when David contacted me, he said Duck Club, and I look at myself as kind of knowing what's going on, and that had eluded me. So that's when I started getting into. So let's get into the actual expressions. You got the 92 proof high brass, right? 90. No, the
92
110.
proof is the blue label. The 92 is kind
Yep.
of Duck Club Bourbon, if you will. That's the main product.
Mm-hmm.
And then the red and the
White.
guy and the dog is what we call high brass, and that's our 110.
10.
And so we can start with, I'd say let's break down the 92 first. Let's build up to the high brass.
Okay, so the one thing I want to mention to everybody, so there's all these brands that come out, and like right now, when brands are coming out and they're 5-6 years and whatnot, I'm used to paying anywhere from high 50s to low 80s. And so one of the things, because David got me these bottles as for samples that I'm going to give out to my guys, but
David's our head of PR, by the way, for some context for this listener.
and that's who introduced, I although we've not talked up until this point, but he kind of was like put out the thing, and I'm just like absolutely. So, but
Price point.
right, and thank you. 39. So the regular one, the blue,
proof?
yeah, is am I right? It's $39.99 or is it $29.99?
$29.99.
Yeah, it's 29.
5 to 6 year old. So we give you the rundown on this one. So this is a 5.5 to 6 year blend. We're blending in 88% Kentucky bourbon that we source from Claremont, Kentucky. 88% of it is 67% corn, 23% rye, 10% malted barley. And then we blend that with 12% wheated bourbon from MGP in Indiana. And that one's a 51% corn, 45% wheat, 4% malted barley. So again, it's 88% 5-year Kentucky, 12% wheated Indiana. So 5 through 6 year blend. It's now a 4 grain because we blended those together. And this is sitting on shelves between $29 and $32.99. And we think that's a hell of a deal.
It is.
So in today's bourbon market, man, there's so much stagnation at the higher price point, and we're coming to disrupt some shit.
So this is now I opened this a little earlier so that it wasn't just I aired it out, let the bottle sit. I let the cap off for about 45 minutes, and then so I wanted to not just be.
Sure.
And
this is what we call, like, bourbon for the outdoorsman's our brand tagline. This is our everyman, everyday drinker. It's good neat. You could drink it on the rocks. Great in a cocktail. This is not like, I think you can analyze the flavor. This is drinking bourbon is what we want this to be. And nobody in the world that's super into bourbon will be offended by this either.
There's nobody. 92 proof. You're at 92 proof, so you're decent proof. It's not, but what I will say, there's a reminder. I will say this: it doesn't taste like MGP.
No,
And even though
it's only 12% MGP.
I know, but it doesn't. There's not. It's not. As a podcaster and a reviewer, the MGP, when MGP is used, there's a lot of people that do a lot of different things with it, but there is a standard taste that is at the base of it, and that's not there.
No, so we actually
Wow,
our
nice
group is pretty
viscosity.
cool. We one of my partners in the brand too is a guy named Ryan Perry. Ryan runs the Silent Spirit group. Ryan founded Heaven's Door and was their CEO. And so Ryan's on our team, and he brought to the team his new master blender, Sam Schmelzer, who is a 12-year MGPI veteran. So behind the scenes, there's a group, and I think I kind of laid the groundwork that this is what I do, and I've built a lot of brands, and we know quality, we know how to do this, and then I'm emphasizing Ryan and Sam's name just to be like, this is not like hey, I was practicing law last year and got into this. I was practicing law 10 years ago, and I've dedicated the last decade to figuring this thing out. and we have a lot of great industry pros on the team, if you will.
That's honestly through the podcast right now. I'm learning a lot, and it's fantastic and impressive. Heaven's Door coming from there, that in itself, and then there's an experience of being a partner with a musician that's added in by him coming from there, right?
Yep. Yeah.
I would say that's really good. It's like having, what is it? There's a honey aspect to it. Caramel honey. It's very much a bourbon and not too sweet. There's not too sweet. There's a nice aspect to it. And for your standard, which this would be considered a small batch, correct?
Yeah, there's no legal definition of small batch.
Right.
Tiny, we know this, but yeah, like our first batch, we made like 5,000 6-packs of it, and we'll probably do that kind of volume like once a year of this one.
Okay.
So it's not teeny tiny, but it's not big at all.
Well, I always like you'll have Elijah Craig. You'll have some of the standard Evan Williams, but then you got an Evan Williams. Then you've got the small batches. You know what I mean? It's like a step up from just a standard. And this is definitely, as far as if you put it up against like an Elijah Craig small batch or whatever, I actually think this is a better entry level to your brand. I like it.
Thank you.
I mean, one of my favorite pours when I'm deciding that I want to just not analyze the bourbon. You know what I mean? It's like it's usually a small whatever, but at the old tub from Jim Beam, that 100-barrel that bottled in bond, and this is right there with that.
Well, that's what I like to say. It's like, let's don't bring haughtiness and like everything to every bottle of bourbon. Like there's some bottles that are just meant to be a good drinker. And that's not to downplay this one. I think we can analyze it. But, I like to drink, and our team does, and the hunting community and Riley and what this brand's all about. Our core item is meant to be, again, like the bourbon for the outdoorsman, which is our way of saying the everyman bourbon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's it. And it's $29.99, so you're not outpriced, especially in this market. I mean, there's a lot of bourbons out there, and that's a nice choice. I like your shotgun, top, the wood and everything like that. So no, it's put it this. Initially, you see that it's Tennessee. You know what I mean? When you're like reading bottled in Tennessee. So then, what does a person who you're thinking, George, maybe it's Dickel or whatever, but then when you read more into it, you really, it's obvious you put a lot of time and effort into thinking how to go. I mean, and mixing the Claremont, Kentucky with the MGP and that's, I think, the direction bourbon is going. You know what I mean? Why do you have the rules where if you why can't you blend? Scotch has done it for years, hundreds of years.
That's why it says blend of straight bourbons on the label.
Right. But a lot of people think you stay true to the one, that one. A lot of people, but one of the people at Lux Row, John Rempe, right? He does Blood Oath, and that's like nobody knows what's in those.
Well, it's a really interesting time in the bourbon market right now because we have some stagnation of consumer demand and pull through off the shelf. We got big names going bankrupt, brands up for public auction. Yeah, there's like blood in the street, if you will. Like it is not necessarily great. And there's a huge oversupply. A lot of it has to do with how I got into this industry, which is bourbon barrel investments. So outside of industry investors buying up new make barrels, hoping to resell those barrels back into the supply chain and make a profit. And they've driven up supply so far beyond demand, as well as a number of banks creating asset-backed loan products where they would loan 80 to 90% LTV against aging barrels, encouraging people to overproduce, acquire more. So anyways, the long story short, dumbing that down, just bringing that, distilling that down, is there's a supply glut. There's an immense amount of inventory on the market. And there's a lot of amazing stuff. And again, we're kind of industry pros at this point. And so we're designing a brand to be opportunistic, not, hey, we don't know what we're doing, so we're going to go buy a few barrels from MGP. We're designing a brand to be opportunistic, so where we can source absolutely amazing liquid and blend it together. And that's why we have Sam on the team and Ryan on the team of how can we find interesting things on the market and blend it together. Like these core items are going to always be the core, but we do plan on building out our SKUs, our product line. And there's so much cool stuff. Like the idea of laying down new fill in today's market is absolutely insane. One distillery, maybe the only one I know that exists in Claremont, Kentucky, just announced that they aren't distilling anything anymore.
Oh, well,
for a year.
they're distilling, just not there, and that
They're distilling at Boston. I know, yeah.
And then they've got Old Granddad. They've got
Sure.
they've got the craft distillery, and they didn't lay anybody off, which was a good thing. But the other thing aspect of it is Greg wrote an article, Greg Schneider, and he says, just real quick, he said, what goes around, comes around. Wow. He goes, wishing you all the great success, but he wants to know if you want to collaborate on something, something special, he'd be interested. So he just threw that out. But
So to me,
yep, that was to you. So if you should contact him if you want. I have all his contact numbers and everything if you need it.
share his contact.
Yeah, I will. I will absolutely do that. But I will say what you're saying. Now he wrote an article that it's not a what would you say, whatever. It's not a collapse or anything. It is a correction, and I will agree. And you are,
agree with that.
and everybody. I don't know why bourbon drinkers are so concerned. We've been doing this boom, and there's been a shortage of bourbon for 15 years, which is making the price intensely expensive. And now all of a sudden, there's enough. Like you said, you could go and get something of what you want, and they'll have it in inventory. There's like an inventory of it, which then, leading up to this, you could sit on the toilet and take a shit and start a bourbon brand, and it would sell. It's just like now all of a sudden, everybody who is doing that, you got to actually be intelligent, have the right people, know what you're doing, and know how to market stuff. You can't it just isn't going to sell itself. So that's what I've been saying. It's just kind of like, yes, Heaven Hill, they just built a brand new distillery, but they're going to run it without hiring more people. Well, and at first they're like, that's crazy. Well, now they realize that no one's going to lose their job. Because they got a distillery to run. I mean, there's so much. It's like in 2 years we were going from a barrel shortage, not enough bourbon, and then 2 years later there's a lot of bourbon on the market. They're shutting down barrel making because they don't have the demand for making the new barrel. I mean, it's crazy how fast it's changed. But now go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think the cool thing, like from the consumer's perspective, is we're going to see the weeding out of the players in this industry that have no business being here. Mm-hmm. They're going to fall to the wayside. The people that either got over-levered or just had a brand that had no business being in the market to begin with. But from that, I think you're going to see some really cool stuff emerge. And if you're open-minded to it, there's going to be some epically cool blends of stuff that's never been done before. Again, this is a 88% Kentucky from Claremont, and then 12% wheated MGP at $30 on the shelf. at 92 proof, non-chill filtered. And this is just meant to be the core. Like this is going to be the ones that we're pouring high volume, high velocity at, bars. Like wait till you see our cool stuff. And then you're going to get into that a little bit with our high proof, with our high brass, that is, to kind of see where this opportunistic market can go.
So the other aspect is, when you're thinking about it, it's just like how they've been keeping bourbon drinkers satisfied. I know when I first got into this in 2019, if you would mention finished bourbon, there was a ton of people that were like, they're like, that's not bourbon. I just like, that's just flavor, that's changing, that's cheating, the rules and everything. And then now we've gone through every single kind of finishing barrel. We've rum finished, we tequila finished, we añejo finished, we every single kind of wine finished, every single kind of wood finish, and then you go, well, what's next? And you just nailed it. It's just kind of like, I mean, all you gotta do is look at Scotch. It's like Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is not made from one distillery. It is barrels purchased from multiple distillery and blended together. And the same thing, the Johnny Walker Blue Label. I mean, it's got Highland Park. It's just got all the best of the best in there. So, and that hasn't even been touched on. I think Freddie No is touching on it a little bit with Little Book, where he comes out and they're doing some different things. But and like I said, John Rempe at Lux Row, with Blood Oath, but that market is not even touched. Mixed, buying barrels, and the only way you can do it is if those places have extra barrels, right? And they're going to start having extra barrels, and you're right there at the start.
Yeah, and not to mention that, so when we started those barrel funds back in the day, the goal was to exit at 4 years. So buy a new make for $550 to $750 a barrel, depending on where it was coming from. So that's wood plus liquid, and sell that at like $2,500, $2,600 a barrel. Epic return, right? If you could get it. The barrel market peaks in early Q1 2023 at like $3,000 a barrel for 4 year. And we measured the bulk market off of 4 year because that's kind of the standard, because that's when you no longer have to state age on a bottle. So the entire industry kind of measures maturation at like bottle ready bourbon commences at 4 years, right? So that's sort of like the litmus test, the watermark, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can get 9-year-old barrels for $900. Like, it's a buyer's market. And so I think what you're going to see from this is so much cool creativity. And I think it's going to be a really great time to be a consumer. And we've kind of come through this wave of haughtiness, and people, I use that word a lot, of people just like over analyzing, thinking they know everything because they've been on some Reddit forum. Like, if you don't know anything unless you've actually done it and toured the distilleries and met the people and actually know how it's made. You can't just read it all in a book or in a Reddit forum.
Plus, there is, I've been to a lot of distilleries, and I've been through a lot of perspective with distillers and blenders, and there's really no wrong or right if you know what you're doing. There's so much there's so much difference in what one distiller thinks opposed to another distiller thinks. And then there's the high, big commercial guys, and it's kind of like, it was funny when Freddie No was coming up and he was trying to do different things. And he was like breaking the still because he wanted to do a cook at it, and they're all set perfectly for pressures and everything. That's why they built the craft distillery, because it was just like they were so used to just making bourbon one way. And then all of a sudden, it all started to evolve. But, I mean, there's so many different mash bills and different things you can do. I mean,
There'll be some really cool innovations that come out of this glut because of blends, and, the creative folks are going to come up with some really cool stuff. And I think as the consumer, now is the time to get excited, not even about necessarily collecting, but drinking again and trying. And Yeah, I don't know. I'm fired up about it. A lot of people are doom and gloom in the industry. I see it as an immense opportunity, and I've been kind of sitting on the sidelines since 22, waiting for the right time, kind of waiting for the bust to happen to get back in. But anyway, so this one's going to be more of probably most of your audience's flavor profile. This is of the two, our sipper, uh, considerably more complex. So we call it high brass because in a shotgun shell, which again, we're all hunting thing, a high brass shotgun shell has more gunpowder in it. So we say this is our Duck Club high brass, a cut above for those seeking more firepower. We're cognizant of the fact that a lot of bourbon guys, geeks, collectors wouldn't consider 110 high proof. So we came up with our own term of art, kind of again looking back to our hunting culture roots.
Well,
So this one,
I'm here to say all their livers will, if they don't think 110 is high proof, I know their livers do. You know,
well,
they're just always fooling their livers.
yeah, sometimes in this whole hazmat craze and the super high proof, you really get away from actual good flavor. It becomes this machismo kind of. Well, I like how hot do you want your taco? Like, well, I want it as hot as you can make it. It becomes a dick measuring contest to an extent, and that
Oh,
gets a little tiring.
although
You know, I think 110 is a sweet spot, really.
Rare Perfection came out with that exceptional perfection, I think it was, and it was 161 proof. Now, I got a 1 ounce pour of that, right? And honestly, it was good, but that 1 ounce pour lasted me 3 hours. I
That's a
just
lot.
it was basically put a little bit between my teeth. The flavor was fantastic, but 160, whew, it's
Yeah,
not.
and if you're doing something that high, that's really cool because now you're getting into like no one's done before kind of territory, which is really cool. And nothing's wrong. I love a good like 120, whatever, but proof is not always better, is the point. It's like where the whiskey shows best is where it should be bottled. And we find that this one, and just 110 is really happy medium that's approachable enough for more kind of amateurs, has enough viscosity, thickness, octane to appeal to the more sophisticated bourbon palate. And the really cool thing about this one, Tiny, is you're going to see what blending does. All right, so this is 81.5% the same as the Blue Label. So it's 81.5%, 5.5-year-old from Claremont, blended with 18.5% 8-year from Louisville. And those barrels from Louisville were distilled for a brand that's now owned by a French conglomerate, and they were aged on the ocean. And we blended that in. And so we've kind of got two competing conglomerates involved here in this blend, and it's really interesting. And so those mash bills against 81.5%, 67, 23, 10, with 18.5%, 75, 15, 10. But that 8-year-old, this is just that's a lot of information actually. It's 81.5%, 5.5, 18.5% 8-year-old, all Kentucky bourbon. And you're going to see what that difference of the 8-year blended in does. It becomes an entirely different product.
So why didn't you put in blend of Kentucky straight bourbons?
Well, that's a great question. And it's because we want the flexibility in later batches to potentially
Okay.
alter the blend
Okay.
ratios.
Yes.
So you design the label and you file the COLA, and that becomes registered, and then we have to register that in all the states.
Yeah.
And like we said, based on the opportunistic market there is, we think we can match this profile across a lot of different states.
Now this one is picking up a ton more caramel. It doesn't have that honeyish flavor that the other one
Thicker
did.
viscosity, a lot more flavor.
Yeah, and I could tell you that the other one had a little bit of the famous peanut note on it too.
Sure. So just to be clear too, so like when you build a brand, you gotta have core SKUs, like core items that you can build distribution, get out there, reoccurring revenue, reoccurring buys that people like, brand awareness, all these like basic pillars. And so for these two, we registered the colas as blends of straight bourbon. And then we say on the back that you can scan the QR code. You
Yep.
can go to our website and see and we register the batch number and the QR code. So there's no us tricking you of you not knowing what's in it. So when you see a different, this one's batch 1, of course, and it's going to be those ratios I just sent. Batch 2 could be slightly different, batch 3, batch 4, etc. But we're always going to show that to you on the website. So if you really care and you really want to know exactly why it maybe is 3 or 4% different in flavor profile, you can go see it. We're not going to hide that from you. But we think we can blend with our master blending team to within 3 to 4% variance by blending entirely different whiskeys together for our core items. That allows us to scale and be really opportunistic in today's market. But we have some really cool limited time or single barrel expressions, one-off expressions, where they will say like Tennessee or Kentucky. It'll call out exactly what it is if it's not a blend. But it's kind of a new way. It's a brand building tactic for today's market, just to be like totally transparent of how we're doing this.
So the one question, we've covered as we keep going. You're answering question after question without even being asked the question, and which is fine because it's so I'm just going through. But the one question that it was Matt Acoustic on YouTube. He asked. He goes, so it's the Duck Club, okay? So if you look at the picture and hunting and whatnot, so you've got the classic. That's the classic bourbon drinker kind of thing, the Duck Club, whatever. So
Sure.
is there a way, he asked, is there a way to market this? Because the price is the price point, and younger bourbon drinkers, the what I would consider at my age kids, but not children, but the 22 to 27-year-old drinkers. Is there something you're thinking as far as marketing it towards them? As far as is there a way that you can get it so that you have like still associated with Duck Club, but then appeals to them? That was the question that he asked, because he was
I think that's a great question, and I'm going to break it down a couple ways. So first off, my co-founder Riley Green has 3 million Instagram followers, and a lot of them are pretty young. He's performing in like 70 live shows in stadiums across the world this year, and a lot of his following's pretty young.
Yep.
He was going to have bottles on the stage at every show. And again, he's the Duck man, and that's why he's involved. And he's a diehard bourbon guy too, which has been really cool. It's just weird. I can't say in earnest, and you take me seriously, that we're not a celebrity brand. But the ideas, the early kind of DNA of the brand came about prior to that, and it was just like the serendipity that came together. So we, of course, are, I guess, a celebrity brand now. So that's one. That's kind of our gas on the fire, if you will. And he's got some really cool things coming up with some TV shows that he's acting in. So I think the kids are going to find out about it. But on a more fundamental brand level, with bourbon, why 1940s, 50s kind of fonts, imagery, nostalgia style marketing, and then why hunting? So it's not just what we're into, which I actually really am. It's bourbon marketing. So bourbon is all about nostalgia because it's about the time spent in the barrels. That's why you hear all these brands they get this concept, but they make up, it's my great grandfather's recipe, or I found this recipe under. It's a hearkening back to the past, and it has to do with American history. I think this idea of nostalgia is built into bourbon DNA, right?
Yeah.
Like through and through in marketing.
I think you're right in the standpoint now. When it used to be bourbon, what killed bourbon in the 80s was what your grandfather drank, okay? And the kids wanted something different. But now you go from my generation to my kids' generation who are drinking right now, and it's almost like through those two generations, they want to know what their great-great-grandfather drank.
Exactly, because they're lost in social media, bro. That's exactly it.
Yeah, like
the nostalgia's back. That's why you see all the retro is in.
Yeah,
across every
collecting
genre,
over. Oh,
fashion, music, car design, all of it.
even collecting. The collecting things that weren't collectible were collectible again, and you saw things that dropped to nothing because whatever, and now they're. I guess it goes
And
around, comes around, right?
brag again, dude. What a genius. But here's I had to finish it on one final thought. So, and this is something that's not meant to be never covering the gender thing, but I have to bring it up. Bourbon is inherently masculine. There's no way around it in American whiskey. And so that masculinity doesn't mean that we're just marketed to dudes, but you have to have an authentic masculine message that's true to the brand, true to the consumer, because that transcends how it's perceived. Johnny Walker, we like to talk about Scotch, came out with Jane Walker, total flop because it was fake and it was too intentionally marketed to women. And the ladies that drank Scotch were like, I don't want to be pandered to. I like the masculine
That's
thing, and
that's why
part of my identity of drinking Scotch is I
that's
feel a little bit more power.
that's why the whole Game of Thrones thing worked. I mean, they did the White Walker, whatever, and I guarantee you that's what made. There's a lot of women who watched them drink Scotch on the Game of Thrones. Just like, yeah, I mean that you got to get to them authentically in a way that you're not, like you said, you can't insult them, and then men aren't going to drink that. But yeah,
So
you're
it's a really fun time right now in the space because we're able to do this and talk about it in this way and be creative in this. And there was a point, like you said, where like it was only about like the pedigree of the juice. And like ultimately, like there's no way around it. We're in the CPG industry, consumer packaged goods, consumer product goods industry.
oh yeah.
And so branding, marketing is there. One thing that you're going to see from my company, Morningside, is every single one of my brands will score in the highest possible tier in the 97th plus percentile in quality. But we're actually going to do really cool shit that's authentic to the category and the brand from a marketing perspective.
That's perfect. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, cover that.
I'm on my rant now. Bring me back to reality, Tiny. Bring me back down.
All right, so we just covered it right there. Here's the question: how important is that cultural connection in building spirit's identity today? Yeah, we've just answered that. All right. All right, so here we go. Here's a fun one. We got to it. So first of all, what's your favorite way to enjoy Duck Club? Do you like it neat on the rocks in a particular cocktail? I mean,
Man, so when it comes to my bourbon, this is not just me being like, it's not like when I'm drinking, if we're really drinking, like in a social setting, like at the Duck Club or like at a tailgate, it's going to be with like ice or crushed ice. And when I'm sitting around at home, it's going to be neat.
okay.
I've never been a big cube guy. I either want water dilution because it stretches it out. And the reason I like ice in those social settings is because when you're just drinking straight liquor, been there, done that, doesn't end well. The ice adds water, cuts it.
Yeah. I honestly, especially in a social setting, people don't actually realize that they just refer to it as ice. But I don't mind a big cube. Okay, and you pour it over there. I'll let it sit for maybe 10 minutes after I do that, so it does get some dilution because that's what I'm looking for. But then that big ice is a slow dilution, so as you're going, it just keeps more and more. And then you got. But when you're talking crushed ice, I mean, do Knob Creek or do Duck Club over a big ice cube, and then the next time put it over crushed ice, and it's not even the same experience. Those are two different, seriously different experiences. You know what I mean?
And I'm all about like again at the duck camp or a tailgate experience where again, there's nothing fancy about it. It's a good bourbon, but we're drinking it with crushed ice in a styrofoam cup because we're just drinking and hanging out. And it is not like it is a subconscious thing, but also like my palate is that you get to a point of like
Yep.
It's one thing that sucks is you accidentally become a snob when you do this for a while. It's like you like legitimately cannot enjoy some bad products. And so But yeah, but there's still this time that you want to shut it off.
But
It's
it's
like I'm gonna
but
take it out of a solo cup or
when
something. Yeah.
when you taste it so much and it's part of you, like especially you tasting batches or pulling from tasting different barrels or batches or whatever, people who consistently do it, it's kind of like, I mean, it's just, there's a certain amount of palate fatigue where you get to the point where even like a whole week, everything tastes the same. You know, you're pulling in the, like, your palate goes through so many different things, but there's that time where you just like, okay, I've just done 6 different bourbons, 6 different podcasts, and I had 2 parties, a tasting, and whatever, and I'm tasting everything, and I'm like, that's too much the same. You know what I mean? And then you revisit it after taking a little break, and all of a sudden you start pulling out the fruits or the caramels or whatever. It's just
At
crazy.
the end of the day, man, this is a drinking bourbon. We're gonna give you the best quality product. By the way, that high brass, that 5 to 8 year blend that we just went over, 110 proof, $39.99 on the shelf.
Yeah, that's a deal.
It's a deal. It's an absolute steal, really.
Yeah,
I like to say that like we're giving you 20 to $30 discount per bottle in quality because of how we're building this thing and just having fun with it. And we're gonna do some really cool stuff. Like I got 9 year Kentucky in maple brulee casks. We got 8 through 9 year Kentucky single barrels coming out. We got a really cool double barrel that I can't reveal the secret of that. So we got some cool stuff, and everything's gonna be under $70 a bottle. Like, let's
that's
go.
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so
Tiny's getting fired up.
where do you hope Duck Club will be in 5 years? Like, what is the what? You know, you're talking about what you're gonna do, but what do you perceive it as? How many different? You know, what amount? How many shelves are you going to be on? You know, what are you thinking?
So check this out. So we launched the brand. This one's a shout to Greg of how we should collaborate and anybody else that wants in. We launched the brand the Friday before Thanksgiving. In the industry, if you tell somebody in our distributors at McCauley that we've done a lot of stuff with you, we love you, but the F are you talking about? We're going to launch the Friday before Thanksgiving. Like, you know, the cardinal sin in this business, you don't launch an O&D. Our Arkansas distributor in 30 days said it was their most successful brand launch since Yellowtail Wine in 2002. We're already in over 1,000 accounts in just 4 states. We are rolling out probably 28 more states this year. I mean, the goal is to be a national brand, but a national cool brand, not just some huge sellout conglomerate. We want to be where our target consumers are. We're really looking at the overlay of the Venn diagram of whiskey drinkers to hunters to country music fans. Turns out there's a huge correlation and parallel there. It's like 65% of the same audience, which is insane when you overlay like 3 different things in a Venn diagram like that. And our goal is to disrupt the stagnation, deliver really cool stuff, have fun with it. We want this to be a national brand, and it's something we can just be so proud of. We have a whole check out our merch on social media. So you can see our 47 hats that I have on. We have the Howard Brothers hoodies who we partnered with. We're rolling out some stuff with some cool brands like Band and Shin and duck hunting brands. We have our new truck stop merch, which is really fun, which was like one of my pet projects that we're rolling out. That's like, and that's where Riley's been really digging it. It's like themed after the gear, but it's high quality stuff, but it's like that you find at a truck stop. And just having so much fun with it and just removing the BS, but giving you collector quality bourbon and kind of lifestyle branding. And so national brand would be the answer.
You have to have Dave send me some so I can wear it on the podcast.
Oh, I got to give a shout out to our boy Dave. So Dave's our global head of PR, David Mandler. So, you know, he was the global head of PR at Whistlepig and Casamigos and has done some big stuff before. So this is sort of like a group of folks that have had their, through the school of hard knocks from previous experiences, kind of all coming together and just being like, let's do something that we actually have a lot of fun with. And that's what's given us this really cool energy.
Well, and it is cool. You all have been places before, and anybody who's been, especially that's how this industry works. It's like people go from one place to the next. It's just like when someone leaves, unless they're retiring, usually they're going someplace else, unless they were unless it was the what their position was too much for them. Sometimes the position is too much for some people, but overall, people are always changing. But you learn from where you've been, and then you know what you pick up and what you want to do. And by the time you get to the point what you're doing now, you've done it. It's like you kind of understand the ebb and flow of the business and what you got to do to be successful, because there's so many before that were successful, and there's a lot of people that weren't successful, but all of it's pretty much spelled out what costs you when you're not successful. That's for sure. It's not a mystery when somebody doesn't make it. It's like if you do the right things and you're doing the hard work and you get the stuff out there, usually I've not seen it be a problem. I've seen people doing the right thing, let their people go, and then everything go to shit. When they start letting the people go that made them who they were, that in itself is the bourbon industry doesn't like that. They meet, you want to meet the people making it, and most of the time it's a family, and then all of a sudden the ownership is dissolving the family because for whatever reason they misspent the money or whatever, and all of a sudden the whole that's usually the start of the collapse. So I'm glad that you're doing this. And
it's like we're like the Avengers, man. It's like getting the good guys together on all these various different projects, and it's like, let's unite and do something. And that's why we bottled in Tennessee, because our good friends own an epic distillery with a state-of-the-art bottling line. And it's like, hey, we're not necessarily gonna just use y'all's juice or maybe even any of it, but we'd love to contract y'all to do the bottling. And it sounds like that's something the business was looking for. And it's, again, just kind of like all these different connections from the industry coming together to try to do something really cool and fun together. But Tiny, question back to you. Holler at me about that 110. What do you think? The high brass.
I love it because I'm a caramel guy, and I taste the caramels. There's definitely, so it's always, if something's too sweet for me, you lose the bourbon aspect of it. So there's I always call it the standard bourbon flavor, if anybody wants to know what bourbon should taste like, it's when you walk into, in my opinion, and then that's just my opinion, when you walk into a rick house and what you smell, the wood, the whiskey, that smell to me is what the standard base bourbon's taste smell is to me. So when there's a lot of times when you're having some pot still or different crazy mash bills, you'll lose that standard bourbon flavor and it'll be overpowered by something, right? And if it's in the barrel too long, a lot of times you can get a 15-year, you can get, not that it's a bad thing, but there's so much caramel into that you're not tasting the bourbon. So the bourbon's a mix of the whiskey, the wood, and then the char, and it's all there. And in this case, you have the right balance of, wow, the nose now, after a little bit of time, and now that I had, and it went, it's the caramel on it's fantastic.
It's awesome. And I think I told you before we had the listeners on, I'm sitting in this sterile white room in my house in Tennessee because we're stuck under 6 inches of ice. And I'm coming in a little hot tonight. It's just like probably oversharing some details because it's like day 6 in the Arctic lockdown. 2 kids under 5. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, man, the high brass, like I was just thinking, I only brought upstairs. I cannot leave this room. Otherwise, I'll be overwhelmed with children.
Yes.
But I was just thinking when you were describing it, I was like, I'm going to go have a sip of high brass by the fire downstairs when this is over. Hopefully post bedtime for sanity's sake. But the high brass is awesome, man. It
Yeah,
really is.
it is.
Uh,
And for 40,
and then
okay, so I would say
$40, like, come on. Like, it's
for
best
40,
deal ever.
yeah. For $40, it's probably that's probably one of the best $40 bourbons I've had. I'm not just saying it because you're on. It's like, it's my wheelhouse. It's like when you get into these, I love rare breed. That's 116 or whatever, but the caramel on that, but it rivals that wild turkey, but that's going to cost you 50 right there. And it's got a really nice hug. It's the finish, you pick up a little bit of the the wood flavor, the tannins of the wood, but it's not bitter. There's the sweetness of the caramel keeps that going. I mean, I would say that's probably, it's an 8 with the 8-year and the 5-year. It's probably the finish is a medium, but when you're going to get a really long finish from something, you're usually getting long finishes from 12 years, 13. That's where you pick up that. So the medium finish is perfect. This hits a home run. That's for sure.
Thanks.
I'll do this. I'll get some samples to my guys, and then we'll do a barrel bottle breakdown of the high brass coming up.
Let's go.
So yeah, definitely. No, it's right there. It's funny. It's like I said. When I first got these, I don't always like to open them up right away, like get right into them and open them before. I usually like to try a day before I'm on with you, or sometimes I'll do I mean, the Duck Club, I did the crack probably about an hour before the podcast. So that's the first time I tasted this. This one, I think I did on Tuesday, and it's just like having it being open for a couple days, definitely it's really starts bringing out those caramels, So
For sure.
all right,
One thing I've learned from like the tequila industry, so we have again a tequila brand. It's so cool of like what you can learn from the different. I've taken a lot of my bourbon stuff and brought it over into the tequila space, but in tequila, it's all about oxygenation and letting the spirit breathe, and like really appreciating the plant, the agave, and like that. And so, like to your point, like bottles, and not only bottles, but when we're now like we're agitating our blending tanks a little bit more than we used to do, because we saw what it would do in tequila, of like what air can do in a good way. Now you can totally overwhelm it and like over oxygenate. But yeah, man, like it's Mother Nature. If you learn how to like some of the, I guess I won't say tricks, but some of the techniques that like bring out the right flavor, it's powerful.
well, people don't realize how when it comes to flavor, unstable whiskey is. They think it's you can't, if you pick up a bottle off the shelf at your liquor store. So let's just say it comes in that week, and you're waiting in line, and it's been right off the truck. Well, it just went on a truck ride, and today -2 degrees outside, and it went from the warehouse to the liquor store, and now it's going to go inside where so it was in the warehouse 40 degrees or whatever, and then it goes to -2 out there, and then it comes in, and it's goes into 68 degrees, and then he gives it to you, and then you take it home, it rides there, it's being shook up. You probably shouldn't get home and pop it. Because it's not, it's got to restitute for a little bit and regain its composure.
Well, think about it this way. Like, here's something that's like, it's like the bottle shop, like that movie or whatever, in wine, which is a fun one. And it's true. But think about this. We all know that oil and water don't mix, right? And then here's the thing. So in a bottle of bourbon, you have water, you have fusel oils from the barrel, and then you have alcohol. Turns out alcohol doesn't like to mix with oil or water either. So you have three things that like scientifically, chemically don't like to mix together. So yeah, when you start shaking that around, it's going to throw it totally out of balance.
Yeah, and then also as a blender, so we did a private pick at Maker's Mark, right? And we were mixing them right there, and he would mix it part to part to part to part, and then we would taste it to see what, based off the staves that they're going to put in the barrel. And then you come up with something you like. And I'm just going, I know that at one time I took the end part of 4 different Woodford double oaks and put it in a decanter, and I tasted it, and it was like absolutely horrible. And after sitting in the decanter for 6 months and I tasted it, and everything got a chance to like actually become one, it actually tasted back to being like a Woodford double oak that was decent. It's just like when you're mixing your barrels, when you do it right away, you're tasting whatever and doing the blending and everything, but there's got to be a point where it's got to go together for a little bit, right? Where they actually, instead of being separately mixed up, trying to make some flavors, if you let them sit and settle and become one, then you taste them. That's more like what you're going to be tasting on the blend, right?
Sure. It's around at 1 week minimum homogenization period in tank. And you want to do that because even at the highest level, think about like think about like alcohol, water, oil not liking to mix. And think about a huge blending tank that's got 10 or 20,000 gallons of liquid. Something that I learned a long time. If you're not careful, the ABV can actually be different at the bottom of that tank than the top of the tank. And so like you got to stir it, agitators or stirring it, blending it, homogenizing the batch. And it does take, it's almost like that principle, like the chili or the spaghetti sauce tastes better the next day kind of thing.
Yeah, because
it all kind of finally rests and actually finally comes together. It's the same thing in this, like you got to let it sit for a couple of days because it finally kind of like comes into a resting state, which is really interesting too.
Well, I told my wife, like, she makes the most awesome lasagna, but I said to her a long time ago, it's like, cook it the 2 days before, and then we'll eat it and just heat it up. It's just the heating up process is the hardest thing to do after you cooked it, but it's like way better. I mean, it's like, it's like restaurants should do that. They don't, but they should.
Yeah. Well, hey, just one thing, I'm getting into defensive mode too about like the blending versus the distilling. So two things, capital, and then brand example. So capital. So like if you're starting off trying to build, like just to emphasize, like we are entrepreneurs that all came from different companies coming together. Like we're not, and yes, we have Riley on the team and it's so amazing, but we're not some like, $100 million backed, whatever. Like this is bootstrapped, us all doing something that we're passionate about together. And so with those financial realities, like obviously we're not going to build a distillery and then wait 20 years to release a brand. If we were a private equity fund or a billionaire family with our family office, we might have a 20, 50-year business model. So anyway, so capital sets your business model. And so we're a startup. But we have to source based on our resources and model. And
you're embracing the sourcing.
But yeah, and let's also just like embrace reality that's hitting us in the face here, and that's reality.
I mean, if you look at Bardstown Bourbon Company, they built their brand. Well, they built a distillery with lots of money backing or whatever, but they built that brand on mixing sourced bourbon, and getting it on there, and then started gradually mixing in their distillate to the point where we are now, where the stuff's still partially sourced, but it's also there a lot more of their distillate. I could see. Okay, so let me guess. The first thing you would do, right, is once you get more capital based off this blending, which you're very, very new, you would start to contract distill, obviously, right? Come up with your mash bill. I mean, in contract distilling with the modern distilleries, honestly, they'll do they can achieve almost anything you want, how you want it, what the temperature of when everything's cooked. And I mean, it's unbelievable. That would be the next step, right? Before
Yeah, not to be a naysayer to some of the industry guys out there, but like realistically, we're many years away from that, not because of our brand scale. Like we're gonna do probably about 30,000 cases this year, but because of just how much glut there is. Like we would be foolish business wise to start laying down new fill when there's so much amazing juice. So maybe like what my estimates and studying volumes, maybe like 4 years from now, we could start laying down new fill. Like there's literally that much juice out there.
right, I get the juice aspect and why you would do it, but it
And some
being
like
super
bullet. So
successful.
here's my other example was, so I said capital resources and then brand example. So brand examples of brands at the highest echelon and the most commercialized echelon or tier have proven that this business model works. Pappy Van Winkle is unquestionably the most sought after bourbon.
Right.
They've never made any of it. It's still the IP is not owned by Buffalo Trace. It's still technically a separate entity, not owned by Sazerac or Buffalo Trace. It is produced there now. It has always been sourced, right? And then prior even to that kind of joint venture model, it was always sourced. So the highest quality bourbon was built off of our business model. And then one of the most commercialized success stories of an upstart in Bullet Bourbon
But I
was
mean,
built off of that
okay,
exact.
question. So
Go for it.
sourced, but it was technically sourced from Stitzel Weller, correct? That was where it was. Peppy was started off by being sourced.
I think a lot of it was right, but I think he was blending in a bunch.
because like what you got with that, when you look at it, when you go to Buffalo Trace, they're picking and choosing. That family picks and choose, and they were doing that at Weller, at Stitzel Weller too. They're picking. They got a contract for a certain amount of barrels that they get to pick and choose from that mash bill.
That very well may be true, Tony, but I think that also over romanticizes and collectorifies the business realities of, you think at some point if they needed some inventory, they didn't find good inventory and blended in.
Yeah,
Like,
I
have
could
no
see.
idea what they did or didn't do. I'm not like,
Right, but
I would bet a lot of money
but-
that there's some
but Pep-
non-Stitzel juice prior to Buffalo Trace's juice that got blended into there, because that's just how this business works. I've done it. That's reality.
right, I believe that. But I will say that there's Pappy Van Winkle still sources bourbon from Buffalo Trace, whether while it's being aged. But I mean, that's I suppose it would be you going, okay, so it makes sense. If
My
you
point is just like, let's don't break it down. Maybe you can.
but in my brain,
My argument falls
no,
apart.
we're not. I'm not arguing with you. In my brain, it's like if you're going to Claremont and you're picking stuff from Claremont and you go there, you might be looking for specific mash bills and whatever, exactly how you would have distilled it because that's what you want, and they got it. That makes sense that you're sourcing from Claremont and whatever, and you're getting what you want, opposed to if you were doing the distillate where you were contract distilling, telling what to do, and then laying those barrels and those were yours. That would then be it's almost the same thing, but it's still different because you're directly involved and
I
you
think there's
bought
like a
it beforehand.
misplaced sense of like ownership and control versus end result.
Okay.
Like, we are solely focused on delivering the best quality product in the bottle to a consumer.
Right.
We're not going to let our own ego and pride get in the way of saying like we had to do it all the way through ourselves if indeed we can create a better product by outsourcing it.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, let's
No, I was just saying I understand. You made me understand what outsourcing, what it is. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I mean, there's not that much of a difference, but it still is a difference because it really comes down to money. So right now, when you buy it, you're buying it based off of where it's at, what it is, what you want, what you're tasting, and that's in your sourcing. Whereas if you distill it, contract distill it, you're paying up front. You're paying up front for them to do it, and then while it ages, you're waiting, and you've paid the money opposed to kind of. And I get that. I get that completely now.
Well, so if you look at, so that was, I said Pappy, that was a triggering, that was what's it, like a rage bait one. But then you look at like one of the best upstarts in whiskey of a non-industry player coming in. Now, of course, Seagram's got involved and it became Diageo, but Bullet Bourbon was like 17 different things over the course of 20 years. And so that's a lower tier, much more high volume product, but it kind of shows a very similar model happening at a different price category, different consumer target. So my whole kind of point with the analogy, like we can of course pick apart some of the history and facts, but it's like the business model works at like this tier and this tier.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just like two examples of it where there's a ton of other success stories that have come out of it. Like, let's put it this way, none of those like really big brand exits ever happened because they built a distillery and their own juice is what got them there. It was always building the brand, and then the conglomerate built the distillery.
Well, I get that too.
Angels Envy, High West, Penelope. Like just go down the list in your mind. Like it was always sourced.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And then Penelope had the best of the all worlds. The people they were sourcing from decided they want to. I mean, it's so really isn't Penelope still being sourced? It's no frick. I know Danny and Michael, and Danny's like, now the difference is instead of, him having to pay money and they actually bought their inventory back from them too, which is even freaking nuts. How much?
Danny and Mike are buds. They're
What?
some of my best buddies in the industry.
And I understand. I mean, but technically, even though Penelope is reabsorbed with them back into MGP or Ross and Squibb, it's still the same damn thing, except. Oh, did I lose you?
Sorry.
Okay, so right? Isn't it?
My
Is
house
it?
cats.
Isn't it still the same damn? I mean, realistically, it's not sourced anymore, but it is. I understand the place that makes it. That's bizarre. Don't you find that unique in itself with what they've done? I'm very happy for them. Danny was such a good friend of and talking to him and whatever, and then to see the success that they've had, but still.
The kids go to sleep and the other critters start to come out, bro, and like start making noise.
So now you know. All right, so let's end this part, and then we can ask some questions and then let you go. Okay?
Let's go.
All right.
But agreed on just to round that last one out. Agreed, and then also one last one. Danny and Mike are like the best. Those guys are great, and not just from like the best bourbon blenders or bourbon guys. They're just
best
like the
people.
Best dudes.
Yeah. No. They're real. That's why. I mean, honestly, I've been asked, well, why don't because what Bourbon Pursuit did with Pursuit United, why don't you make your own brand? And I'm just like, I'm a people person. I would not even think of trying to do what they're doing because I love meeting all the people in the industry because this industry is crazy, awesome people. Blenders, distillers.
How much money you can lose and how intensely stressful this is.
Okay, I will. All right. So everybody, I'm gonna give the plug. What's your website? Where to go? How to get it?
Yeah. So check us out at Duck Club Bourbon on Instagram, duckclubbourbon.com. Man, the fans have gotten out there. We've already in just like we're like day 65 or something. We got almost 19,000 Instagram followers. It's great. You can order it online on our website. We're rolling out across every southeastern Midwestern state. We'll be in, like I said, like between 28 to 30 markets by the end of the year. Just building, and it's been so cool to see the consumer adoption and like in the industry adoption. Like, again, I've started like 15 brands. I've never had it to where big distributors and big retail chains were calling us this early on. Like some of the biggest chains in the country. We love and pride ourselves on working with the independent retail market. But as a brand owner with like a huge chain is calling, it's like we know we have something special. And so, yeah, just follow us. Just give me the one benefit of the doubt that we're going to do really cool stuff. We're always going to put quality first. You're never going to find a better value, whether it be the bottle of bourbon we're selling you or the hat or t-shirt or hoodie. We're doing it right. Like I have like a core principle I tell everybody in every one of these settings is any product we make is something I would proudly serve a guest in my own home. Like I always like to challenge other brand owners and say like, hey, if you're like idol or somebody you really care about that you look up to came to your house or house party, would you feel pride in serving them your product based on like the quality of it? And I think that's a really easy litmus test. And a lot of people would kind of admit that like, well, I like to sell it, I like to own it, but I wouldn't want to serve it to the person I look up to. And I think that's a really easy way to like weed out true belief or passion in their own product.
I agree with that. I mean, the people that I associated within the industry, that's exactly it. They love making the good quality products, and whether they're distilling it or there's a certain amount of pride, and you definitely have that same pride in what you're doing and how you're going about it. And thanks for coming on the podcast. So
it's been way more fun than I even thought. You're awesome. You're a natural conversationalist. I was looking for the word.
I like people. I like to meet people like you. I just that's why we're a lot of us are in it, is because what it does is it's like bourbon is like the connective tissue to bring people together, and then the real fun is when you're all together. And that's one thing that we always say, drink responsibly. And that's kind of what we're doing all the time. And I enjoy doing the podcast. You'll see afterwards, a couple people will join us, and we hang out a little bit, talk bourbon, and then I stay up way too late and have to go to work in the morning. But beside that point, www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all things Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We got the Glencairns, the t-shirts, the bourbon balls, so check that out. And then also remember, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and TikTok, along with Apple, iHeart, and Spotify. Whether you listen to us or you watch us, make sure you leave good comments. If you're on, become a member, join us on Patreon, support the show. We love everything that you do. Every single cent gets put right back into the podcast, whether it's our travel expenses or our bourbons. We love everybody, and thank you for coming tonight. Remember, and thanks, McCauley, for coming. And remember, good bourbon equals good times and good friends. Make sure that you drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and live. Oh, don't drink and drive. And make sure you live your life like us, uncut and unfiltered. And here we go with our AI theme song to take us out.
On the floor, working hard all day till you can't no more. how you play it out when you walk through that door. One bottle, one drink, one pour. That's what the Scotchy Bourbon boys got in store. Tuesdays, Thursdays, come pull up a seat. We'll taste through the whiskey on the rocks and knees. Bourbon Scotch or a good old ride. Japanese, Irish, yeah, we'll tell you why. So wherever you're sipping, near or far, tune in with us from your home or your car. One bottle, one drink, one pour. That's the podcast you've been looking for.
All right. Turn that down. All right, I am going to get this to. Oh. All right, I turned that down, but then I turned you down. All right, there you go. I can hear you.
I was just saying that was a banger. The AI closer.
I wrote it, and then I ran it through ChatGPT saying, make it work in like writing a song format. Just told it to verses and choruses, and then I ran it through Suno, and I ran it like 14 different genres or whatever. But that one was the.
I love it.
It's so cool that you can now use AI for like. Did you see? Did you see the promo? Hold on.
Did.
Okay. Did you see the Duck Club thing I did just with it on the pier? Here.
That's the only one I saw. What's the other one?
On the pier? Did you see that I was able to animate it?
No, let's see it.
Watch this. Okay. I'm going to share this. All right. Share screen.
What are we even doing anymore?
I don't understand. Like, I come from this part of it, right? Actually come from this part where I made scenes to look like that. And it took, I mean, this scene right here would have, like, to put this together and take the pictures, we're talking weeks. And I can tell it what to do. Let's see, share, right? There it is. I can tell it what to do. Here it is. All right, I'll get it up right there. I could tell it what to do and got that image, right? And that took like 5 minutes. But this part, watch that. Can you see that? The water's moving and the ducks are flying. I mean, come on. And so it just like makes me so, I get so, what would you say, excited about that. And then it's my assistant, I used to use the guys commenting, like if I couldn't remember something or whatever. Now when I have, like I said, when I have a guest, I don't use the sunglasses with the AI, but if I'm by myself, I'll just wear those during the podcast and I will ask it questions because I don't remember everything. It was great you were here tonight because some of the stuff that I remember, I don't, when you're by yourself, you have to actually make sure you're putting out the right information. And you were there to verify, a couple things that I remember, but then give, like the foundation and setting up the charity for the the wetlands wildlife thing. That's awesome. But otherwise I'd have to do my research. So it's cut down a lot of time and effort, and then made me better. Like my questions now are in a format that I can just follow through and ask. And you were doing great as far as getting answering the questions before I was even asking them. I thought that was awesome.
I'm actually not even real. I'm just an AI bot that McCauley.
You just at one point, I think that's going to be what it's going to be like, right? All right, I'm going to throw it out there right now to everybody. to come on, whoever wants to. I have no idea who's. I hope we haven't put every. I mean, there's this weather has been so. Yep, that's it. It's right there. All right, we'll see who jumps in. It usually takes a while because I just did that, and Facebook's a little bit delayed, but a couple guys will join in, and hopefully they have some questions. But thanks for
Good.
doing
You
this.
want to fit me?
What?
Man, I just tried to be real. Hopefully, it wasn't too. I don't know. I used to do these and like have my reverence media hat on, and at this point, it's just like, yeah, this is who I am, who we are. Hopefully, it doesn't offend anybody.
I don't think so. Oh my God, you know the other McCauley, right? McCauley Minton. Have you met him?
I've never
Dark
met him.
Arts?
I know who he is. Yeah.
It's funny, you're both named McCauley, but you remind me of him a little bit, but he is not afraid to, I mean, he's not afraid to offend anybody. He just talks the truth. So
He's a Wilderness Trail guy, right?
Yeah, he was Wilderness Trail, now he's Dark Arts.
Yeah, but I know he's Dark Arts, but
It looks like we got Greg and John. Wow, we got it. There's John. John's from Chicago. Then Walker is also here, and Walker is right now active military, and he is out in Arizona.
let's go.
All right, McCauley, nice to meet you.
You too, John. It's a cool Monsters Inc. poster you got there.
Yeah, that's actually a blanket. So I'm a school teacher, so I had to do a cold day Zoom with my kids. So I put that up there on the back there. It's kind of hanging off of like a curtain rod. So
Man, I got a 4.5-year-old son, and so we've seen Monsters Inc. on repeat. I know it all too well.
it's a great movie, even for adults.
Here's McCauley. It looks like we got Greg on now.
Greg, good to see you, man.
How are you, man? Been a long time.
It has been. Hey, IU, congratulations, man. What a season.
Oh yeah, there you go. You're sporting that Indiana thing. Good.
Years and got the shit beat out of me, but now, hey, I can cheer successfully.
That's awesome.
What a season.
And they did it in the right fashion, too. An undefeated season, Greg. Cheers.
Yeah, I was thrilled, man. I tell you, it's, I was a sophomore in college when Bobby Knight went undefeated for his first national championship. So it's been a while, so it's been great.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff.
Hey, so Greg, I know that you pheasant hunt and you turkey hunt, but I didn't ever know that. Do you duck hunt?
I waterfowl hunt, I deer hunt. Yeah, I've done just about all of it. I don't hunt in Africa, but hey, if it flies, it dies, and put meat on the table. So
Love it.
Wayne and I can attest to that. McCauley, we got to share some pheasant with Greg many moons ago.
I love it.
So, who's got questions?
I don't have a question per se, but I got to tell you, McCauley, I'm proud of you, buddy. It looks like you've done a lot in a short period of time, man. So congratulations on the success, and wish you continued.
I appreciate that, Greg. It means a lot, especially coming from you.
Yeah, that's fun business, buddy. I'm in my 48th year, and still love it since day one. So,
Well, look forward to connecting after this call.
yeah, for sure, I'd love to.
I guess I just probably want to say thank you, McCauley, for representing, like we talked about that convergence. You were talking about the Venn diagram earlier of people who, might just be interested in the outdoors, might be hunters, might just be into country music or into certain things, or might just be aspirational, like you were saying. And I come from a different corner of the South than you do, but I think there's a lot of commonality in what you're trying to do with the brand, what people care about, and really sometimes what people are underserved by when you get to a certain level of haughtiness, like you were talking about earlier. Like you were excluded at that point, and it's not helpful.
I appreciate it. Tell me what you doing over there, man.
I just remembered where those samples were, and these had to be when you were still working there. This is the new Blue Note 9-year, Blue Note 17.
Nice.
There's a 10.
Yep.
Oh, what's that one? It's got the red and black label.
Man, that looks a little fancier than the samples we were sending out back in. Like,
Oh no! So it's funny because those samples are done by Super Nash. He has this way. Every sample he sends me, he always has a way of getting the labels. Like he puts the labels on for me.
It's like
So-
we in the industry can't figure it out. We just use like an Avery label, but a collector has figured out how to micro replicate labels.
He does. It's unbelievable. I swear to God, I don't know how he does it, and he did it early on. And he still does it. So I was just
Are we still on the public recording, or are we off of that?
no. Right at the moment, we're still on Facebook and YouTube. Do you want to get off?
No, I was just curious.
Okay, yeah, we're off of the audio that'll go out as the audio podcast. So that nothing's being recorded as far as audio, but as far as Facebook and YouTube, we're still on. Anybody, I would say we're down to a minimal amount of people watching though.
Well, it's a true fact. They know it as well as I do. I mean, I got fired from the company I started at Blue Note, so not for doing anything wrong. It was difference of directions and opinions, and had to start over from complete scratch, man. In January 7th, 2022, January 8th, 2022, I was like, well, I'm rebuilding. My birthday is in February, and my wife bought me the laptop that I'm on today. I had to turn it in, and then my cell phone 4 years ago. I was like, if you just give me the internet again, I can rebuild. And rebuilt from like literally ground zero to scratch, dead, fucking broke, with literally a cell phone and a laptop and going to the coffee shop.
And a really nice wife.
And an amazing wife and a 6-month-old kid at the time. And due to some legal disputes, decided that it was best to not do immediately a bourbon. So I went to Mexico and started a tequila.
Good choice.
Liquidated all my stock accounts, borrowed money from a friend, and bought a one-way ticket to Guadalajara. Figured out tequila industry and took about 13, 14 months. Launched, and then the tequila brand is now, like I said, at one point this past year, we were number one, fastest growing brand by Nielsen retail scans. Now we're top 3 behind McConaughey. And I'm trying to think of who the other one is. But we're in 26 markets, like 5,600 accounts, off-premise accounts with our tequila brand, Armadillo Jaguar and growing. And like, I think sometimes it takes like just getting kicked in the nuts to like an extremely hard level and like rebuilding from that to like really appreciate it all. And I don't know, it's been good. And like, honestly, it's like I needed it in a way, like not necessarily something I did, but like for my own personal journey to like rebuild from that. It was like the medicine you don't want to take, but maybe you somehow need it. You know, I'm a Christian and believe in, you know, in destiny and all that. So, but I don't know, anyways, I don't know. It's been a crazy journey to get back from just me and a laptop and a cell phone and in a coffee shop.
So how old are you?
I'll turn 37 next month.
So in other words, I have a son that's going to be 38 in April. So I will tell you from Greg's standpoint that there's more. I don't think there's going to be more going completely flat broke, but there'll probably be some more well, how would you put it, Greg? Disagreements in how to do things right? Because
Yeah, there's going to be ups and downs. I mean, I've been blessed throughout my career, and you know, since I started consulting, going on 9 years now, it's like chicken cock. You know, when I started out with them, you know, I pretty much had hold of the reins. They kind of let me do what I needed to do to resurrect the brand and kind of bring it back to, you know, the reputation, the quality reputation the brand had many years ago. And then, you know, the owner, in his arrogant and narcissistic fashion, decided, he didn't need all that help anymore, and so he decided to, change things, and I wasn't willing to change. So I said, you know what, good luck. And so again, it happens, man. You're right. I believe you're right, because sometimes you got to get knocked down a little bit to make you even stronger and get back up and say, by God, I'm a successful person, and I'm going to prove it once again. And so, it's happened in my career. You know, it wasn't all, bed of roses and that. You know, I ran against some tough times in the companies I worked for, but always found where I could find opportunities to do better and succeeded. So, and you do the same. I'm thrilled that you're where you're at right now, and I think the partnership with Riley Green is a great one, especially the partnership with Ducks Unlimited and Delta Waterfowl, two great organizations. You know, when I was the vice president of Austin Nichols and the managing director of Wild Turkey Distillery for over 10 years, I actually negotiated the contract and sponsorship we had with the National Wild Turkey Federation every year. And I'd attend the conventions, but I'd also negotiate our sponsorship. You know, we gave them, it was up to, it increased, but at one time we were up to 120 grand a year. We were the sponsors of the Grand National Calling Championships, and there was a lot with that sponsorship. But the connection with the outdoors and that culture of people. Again, I'm an outdoorsman, always was, always have been. My dad, taught me how to hunt and fish, because, we didn't eat unless there was wild game or fish we caught on the table during the week. And so that's kind of the regimen I was brought up in. But with the National Wild Turkey Federation, you find, just like DU and Delta Waterfowl, those people are like NASCAR fans. They are so loyal to the companies and the products that support their organization, and they will be loyal to you as well. And it's funny, because the reason I negotiated the contract, I was a production guy. I was head of all the production operation down in Kentucky. Corporate New York and marketing and sales was up in New York City, and they thought turkey calling and turkey hunting was a joke. Thought it was hilarious. And they didn't understand the money and the people. I mean, they did Stuggers on up to, brain surgeons and you name it, billionaires. They were members of that organization, and they supported that organization, and they supported a huge piece of the growth, domestic growth that Wild Turkey experienced over those years. So I think it's a great connection. Build upon that and do all the best you can with that connection.
Well, thanks, Greg. Honestly, your brand there, Wild Turkey, I like to say is, well, let's just put it this way. It's the only other hunting-inspired brand all the way through to a national success. We're not there on the national success, but we draw, I've studied what y'all did to a degree, and draw a lot of inspiration from it, through and through, literally. And I've said it not necessarily on a podcast or Instagram or Facebook Live, but it's there's one turkey bourbon. There's not a duck bourbon. We're going to be the duck bourbon.
There you go. Yeah. And unfortunately, they no longer sponsor the National Wild Turkey Federation. The change in ownership and the change in marketing management, they just they don't get it. So anyhow, it's their demise. I hate it for the National Wild Turkey Federation. I'm a Diamond Life member. I'm a DU member as well. And so, yeah, I just wish you well with that. Again, if I can ever help you guys in any form or fashion, would love to work with you.
I really appreciate it. Just to put it in perspective for those that don't know, the NWTF happens at the Opryland every year, and it gets 90,000 people.
Yeah, it's crazy the way
it's just for turkey hunting.
Yep.
So
Um,
I'm gonna take this to a little bit different. So there's Traveler whiskey, which is Chris Stapleton and Harlan Wheatley from Buffalo Trace, and they based Buffalo Trace. Everybody was always telling Buffalo Trace that they weren't putting out enough of Weller. They're holding back. They're not doing this. It's a marketing thing, and that they need to put it on the shelf, and they need to do this and that. Well, that's just people talking, right? But Traveler, they do this Chris Stapleton whiskey, okay? They do a blend. They don't tell you what's in it. They do the Chris Stapleton thing, and I think it's a decent whiskey, and it's a whiskey because it's got other stuff in it. But every single person, because you could get it and they made enough, and they probably outsell a lot of their allocated stuff by a lot, by SKUs, and that's the whole purpose of a company, Sazerac, to do is sell whiskey, right? But everybody who I know, pretty much 90% of the people that were doing the allocated just ripped the hell out of it because it's a $40 bottle. Now your bottle of your standard Duck Club is a $30 bottle, $10 cheaper, right? And it's a country celebrity bourbon, and I'm telling you, it's every bit of it and then some. So,
I appreciate that.
and so,
Isn't Travelers a blended whiskey though?
yeah, I mean, yes, it's a whiskey, but this is a blended, bourbon. It comes from two different.
So there is a fundamental difference between a blended whiskey and a blend of straight bourbons, which I think maybe Greg's talking to. So
Oh yeah,
blended
yes.
straight bourbon just means we're blending bourbons across state lines, but yeah.
Right,
Blended
right.
whiskey can be non-bourbon.
Right. It can also be Canadian whiskey, which they try. Everybody, no, they didn't tell anybody what this mash bill is, and still haven't. But I've had about 1 million people tell me what this mash bill is. But I'm just saying, it's a sponsored whiskey. This is a bourbon, so we're one step ahead. It's a bourbon whiskey opposed to a whiskey, and I'm saying that this is every bit and then some of it. And I hope you start selling as much of this as they sell of this.
I appreciate it because I'm looking here at my Nielsen data just to put it in perspective. We can laugh at it. I would love to own it. Traveler is number 34 in all American whiskeys on a rolling 52. Just to put it in perspective, Sazerac sells more at retail Traveler whiskey than Russell's, Willett, Bardstown Bourbon Company, Uncle Nearest, Booker's, Early Times, George Stagg, Van Winkle.
And when they did it,
Blah, 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 blah,
like
blah.
all the bourbon people just ripped the living crap. They were ripping it. I'm like, stop ripping it because you can get it. So they proved their point. If you give them something they can have, they don't want it.
Sazerac is laughing all the way to the bank. with
But
every
yes,
dollar.
that we all know. Jim Beam laughs all the way to the. It's like it does it. Jim Beam, and then same thing with Jack Daniels. They're just that brand that so many bourbon people rip on, outsells all of their allocated put together by a mile. It's just. If you're talking about sales, it's a whole different thing. And aren't whiskey companies, Greg, based off of sales?
Well, their success and demises, yeah.
So you want to sell it. I mean, it's like I'm waiting in line, and I'm like, you guys all know that we're only like of the bourbon the allocated bourbon people who love allocated bourbon. We're only like 7% of the whiskey market. 93% of them, they're going for Jack Daniels and Jim Beam.
And Fireball.
There you go.
So your other
Penelope, though, is number
it's not got his picture up.
39. Excuse me, number 29 on that list.
What is?
So Penelope, number 29, top 30 American whiskeys.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Well,
Cool.
I just like Danny. You talked about knowing Danny and Michael, and it's just so wasn't it just great to see what happened to him? It's like two good guys had something so fantastic happen to them. They were making. I mean, I asked him about what's the difference in blending when he was doing a 60 barrel blend for all of it. And now he's doing a 600 to 1,000 barrel blend. I mean, that's got to be a little bit different, right?
For sure.
Got a lot more pressure riding on it, wouldn't you say, Greg?
I don't know. Again,
I've got a lot more resources too.
I get the celebrity appeal, especially when it came. And Harlan's a great master distiller, but I think, in my opinion, they were just grabbing at something to get some out on the market, and it's been successful. They made money at it, but it's not doesn't rank up in my favorite pours.
So have you had it?
No.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Greg's back on Traveler. We shifted over to.
Yeah, we went to Penelope. So Penelope, are you familiar with Penelope?
Familiar with Penelope? I actually had some. It's about a month ago at Susan's daughter's house. He had some. I think it was what was it? Was it a rye? A finished rye, maybe they did.
Okay.
I can't remember which one it was, but it was pretty good. It was very good.
I mean, their story was they basically did it, and they had to they're doing it like McCauley. They were buying stuff. They kind of went out on, and then very similar to Ryan and Kenny.
Yeah.
They're build.
All MGP? Was it all MGP or was it?
No, it was all MGP they were buying.
Okay.
And they had an inventory, and he was blending and doing things, and they're working their ass off. But they were, what would you say? They were extended out as far as they could, as far as they were really putting everything on the line for themselves. Okay, so it's funny because not only did when MGP or Ross and Squibb, because that's the actual place that bought them, came to them. They basically wanted to buy them, they wanted them to keep doing what they were doing, but at a bigger level. And then Danny said they bought the inventory that they had purchased back. So not only did they get the whiskey they had purchased and got the money back for that, but then everybody knew the number, right? What was it? 78 million, 68, something crazy.
It was $105 million in cash and $110 million earnout.
Yeah,
$215 million.
So
it was a Penelope. I think it was a Penelope 17-year-old light whiskey that I tasted. It was fabulous.
I mean,
I think we had some of the festival, Greg. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they wanted them to keep their jobs. I mean, it's just like they didn't sell out. They basically said, we want you to keep doing what you're doing, but we want to give you. And now he's got, it's them. Now he's got free range of everything. It's like whatever he wants, he can put together. That's a great American story in whiskey. And McCauley, I mean, that's out there. And I didn't bring this Blue Note to bring bad memories. I brought it out to know that this is from the time period you were there. And that jukebox, even the 17-year that I just... Juke joint, yes, the juke joint. But even the 17-year-old Blue Note that I had, there was a fruity taste on it that I just absolutely loved with Blue Note. I'm just telling you, you did a good job there. I understand that you're going.
Thanks, brother. That 17 was really special. That was courtesy of my friend. If you know him, Mr. Terry Thome. The man, the myth, the legend, provided a lot of magic for me back in the day before he retired.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Favor, Jeff, don't pull out a ball of chicken cock because I tell you, shove it up your ass.
So, Greg, There's only since then. I mean, it's just crazy. I just like I have. I'm definitely ghost buying your like. Okay, so what about the weeded? Did you distill the weeded?
Yeah, it was in 2024.
Oh my God, they're 2024 and they're releasing it now.
No, he's buying stuff. That's what I'm saying. He just totally broke the mold when what we had set in place to make our own whiskey. And he's out there buying stuff that he can and just trying to get more SKUs on the shelf. That's his game plan. And,
I mean, I secretly buy your single barrels. I mean, I'm gonna buy them because you basically made those and told us all about it, and then had to leave before they started coming. It's
You
like
said secretly buying. It's no secret anymore, Jeff. Come on, man.
I
Hey,
drew.
guys,
I
gotta
drew.
jump in just a minute.
Yep.
I saw the time, and I got
Hey,
my computer is about to die, and I got a wife. It's like, where
yes. That like I said, bail. But at the same time, McCauley, keep in touch. I mean, and if you've got new stuff or whatever, and you want us to whatever, just send it. Send it our way, and we'll promote it. Love what you're doing. For a launch, I mean, that's some damn good stuff you're putting out already. And you got the passion that we always look for. So appreciate you coming on and your time.
I really appreciate y'all's time. Greg, can't believe I saw you. John, Walker, Randy, if he's still on, appreciate the extra time.
I am. Nice to meet you, McCauley.
And Randy's in East Tennessee, McCauley. He's over in Knoxville.
I love it. And Tiny, man, like what a host. You're great. I think we instantly kind of vibed. It was good.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for coming on. And
Yes.
look forward to a long relationship.
Jeff,
Absolutely.
info if you don't.
Take care, McCauley. Good to meet you.
Take care,
All
McCauley.
right. Yep.
Yeah, Tiny, share Greg's contact with me.
I will, 100%.
All right, y'all have a
Cheers.
good one.
Cheers.
Stay safe this weekend.
All right.
Good for the McCauley.
Drink by the fire.
McCauley, I got to share one thing. Go Vols.
I'm an Ole Miss fan, Randy. Sorry to break your news.
Well, I was born while my mom and dad were at Ole Miss, so I was born in Oxford. So you're good.
Okay, I love it. Well, okay, go Vols, Randy. Why not?
Why not? Right. And we had the same coach for a while, unfortunately.
Let's go.
He's down at
Yeah,
LSU
we
now.
did have done for it. We share that bond. Like Greg and I have a new bond to share.
Yes.
I love it. Well, hey, cheers to y'all, as we say in Mexico. Salud, amigos.
All right. Salute.
Hey, guys. See ya.
That worked out well. So, Greg, so since I got you right now, you're not at Susan's, you're at your house, right?
Yeah, I came home yesterday. Yeah.
So, okay, first question is, what did you do with your current chicken cock stock of whiskey?
Well, it's pretty much gone. I mean, other than the collector bottles, I have one bottle of everything I touched, and it's going to be for sale some point in time. So.
Okay, so that's what you're talking about, the collector's bottles that aren't open. But the other stuff, it's gone because you drank it or because you threw it away?
Well, no. I most we got drank or given away for fundraising stuff. But no, I don't really have anything else. No.
Okay, no.
Greg, if I see one that has your name on it, which some of mine do, then I'll get it.
Okay.
What about, so now everything that's in your stock is 4 branches, right?
Well, they're so small. I don't have anything at 4 branches. Actually, my bourbon stock's pretty low right now, if not non-existent. I think I got 1 bottle of 4 branches left.
So you're open to collector bottle type stuff as far as like stuff like any kind
Send
of
him to
good.
William Dalton.
He sent me William Dalton, and I'm not a fan of it. So.
Okay.
He's not a pot still guy.
Fair enough.
I just know it didn't hit my palate. So.
Yeah, I know your palate. Your palate is that 15-year-old barrel strength chicken cock whiskey. Now that's our palates right there. Blow your mind.
Doesn't have to be 15, but yeah, there's some good stuff out there. And again, I didn't get to really mention it to McCauley, but you know, that's the key. I mean, today's business plans, there's a lot of business plans out there where there's a substantial amount of surplus of great bourbon, high quality bourbon at a very reasonable price. The problem you have to be careful with, or the challenge, and it sounds like they're addressing it, is the sustainability of the inventory that you're using to come out with a consistent level of quality batch after batch after batch. And it sounds like they're shifting it. So they're having like, Duck Club 1, Duck Club 2. So it may vary batch to batch.
Although there was the two places or the three he's buying from MGP on the main, just the standard, batch, and the other one's coming from Clearmont. And and you say Clearmont, there's only one distillery in Clearmont, so we know what the hell that is. So he's buying. Oh yeah,
We had to sign an agreement. We all know.
yeah, we didn't. So we all know that's Beam. So I don't think Beam at any time is running out what they're putting on the market.
No.
So I think he's okay there. Now this one was Beam. This 110, brass was Beam and a Louisville brand from Kentucky, and Louisville could be numerous amounts.
Well, he said it was on a ship, so it's Kentucky Artisan.
Oh yeah, so that was Oceans.
Yeah.
I thought that Kentucky Artisan would be considered out of
that's the overall brand for Jefferson. Yeah.
These Jefferson's
not no more though.
Would be a Kentucky Artisan. It's on the east end of Louisville, Prospect, east end of Louisville.
But the distillery itself at Kentucky Artisan was not distilling. It was their distillery in Louisville, right?
No, they were distilling at the Kentucky Artisan facility. Steve Thompson was one of the co-owners of that, who I worked for.
And he passed, right?
President of Brown-Forman Beverage Company. It was my book one time.
And now they just, if I'm not mistaken, they just opened and started distilling at they're right by Limestone Branch, Yellowstone, Limestone Branch. They're like, you can see their distillery from there. So they built, Ocean's split from Kentucky Artisan and is now distilling at their new distillery.
Trey Zoller's got a new distillery open down there?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was
Yes.
Bourbon Company too.
Yes.
Interesting.
No, he knows. I mean, it's insane the amount of distilleries that just opened. You got Potter, Jane. You've got Western Kentucky Distilling. Then you've got the Kentucky Whiskey House. You've got this one, Oceans. I mean, and then you had Luca Mariano, which I knew.
Before, yeah.
Well, we're gonna.
What is going on? What is going on with Luca Mariano?
They're done. They're selling. They're all their
That's what
shit.
I thought.
There's
I thought
all
they
their
were
shits.
liquidating. Yeah.
So right now, I'm gonna tell you this is just a little bit. It's like either wishful thinking, but the person who said that he might be looking at it is McCauley Minton. I mean, he was at Wilderness Trail, and then all of Luca Mariano's juice was distilled at Wilderness Trail. But honestly, Greg, I knew that distillery wasn't going to make it. At one point they were really friendly, the people were great, and then they fired all the people, and then they were basically like totally. Marketing was, they were on the podcast 6 or 7 times, and all of a sudden they couldn't be on the podcast because then we did I do shorts, right? And all of a sudden I had to run all the shorts that I took at their place from now on through them. They made up lies about what people thought. They thought, and I would talk Jen. They didn't realize I knew the people. They would tell me that this person was offended, and then I'd talk to that person. She's like, "I'm not offended. I blend in the whiskey industry. Why would I be offended?" Anyways, so I knew
we did a barrel pick there the day before they got their columns filled. But it was, I don't know, I hate to see that they didn't make it or are not going to make it.
So I'll do this for you as my final pour, Mr. Greg Schneider.
Continental.
It's no longer the 200. It's not the 250th anniversary of the military. It's the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Well, we are coming up this year with a celebration to the tribute to the 250th anniversary of the United States. It's going to be a double oak, and it's
I love you.
4-grain double oak. It's going to be fantastic. Currently I just tasted it last week, so it's progressing. It's not there yet, but in a few months it should be absolutely fantastic. So it's a combination of 10-year-old bourbon and some other 4-grain, 6.5-year-old 4-grain bourbon. So it will be a 4-grain bourbon. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It's going to be great.
So
Looking forward to it.
So
Yeah.
So you saw the email I got. I sent you. I just laughed. It's just like it's like.
So they sent you that email with that.
Yeah,
article.
me.
I
Yeah.
never even got approved before they sent it out.
I know, but it's like they'd have no idea who. Well, okay, so how do they even know to send it to me?
Well, they probably did because you're probably on their list because we did a podcast with you. Jeff.
So I'm on the list, but they have no idea that I talk to you on almost a regular basis, and that like if I want you on the podcast or I want you to do something, I'm going to ask you. It was like, what's going on? So that's why I sent it to you. I did chuckle.
It's all good.
But we gotta. I would say in the 2 weeks of February, pick a Tuesday or Thursday you want in. The 17th I'm booked with Alan, but you can stay ahead of him if you come on the week before, in the 2 weeks before. So just think about that.
Let's look at it later. I got a lot on my plate between now and then probably, but we'll find time.
Yeah, definitely. And tell them that, they should, what that 250th anniversary of the United States bottle they should send so we can talk about it. Or the double oak.
It's not going to be bottled till probably May or June, I'm guessing. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Or anything they want to send. I mean, it's good. It's good. Obviously, you got it going. And so, any other places you're working with?
I'm just working. I got a young company down in West Palm Beach it's a blended whiskey called Something Southern. Young guy, he just getting started. He did a first round, and they're test marketing in the Tampa area.
Do they? So it's West Palm, okay? So my mom and dad live in Boynton, and I'm going down to Florida. That 17th, so that I'll leave that Friday after the 17th, and I'm down there for a week. Do they got some place at all that you can visit?
No. Right now, I think it's just being sold in test market in Tampa. Probably April, May. I'll be down there. They're doing the processing and bottling at Islamorada Brewing Company in Fort Pierce, just north of West Palm there. And so,
Greg,
yeah.
Do you know if Star Liquor or Kenny's or who else is going to have it down there?
I couldn't tell you at this point. I mean, again, it's so young and new. They came out with
I'll reach out to Star and Kenny's and 3 or 4 others down there and see if I can get some if it's good.
It's called Something Southern. It's a blended whiskey, and this guy, young guy, he and his dad made some money in the beverage business. It was, I think, the energy drinks or something like that. And sold it, and then his dad died of a massive heart attack. So he's trying to get in the business, but he has retail connections. So he's starting on the on-premise, selling to restaurants and bars and hoping to expand it from there. So it's different business model. But I'm helping him. I mean, God, his cost of goods sold were outrageous. So, and likewise, the corn whiskey they used as a part of the blend was musty as hell. It was so bad.
No quality control.
It had that. So in other words, it had the thing that only what 12% of the population can taste, and you're one of them.
I could smell it. I mean, when I put it in my nose, man, there's an off note there. When I taste it, I could taste it. So I asked them to send me a sample of their corn whiskey, their bourbon whiskey, and their wheat whiskey they used in the blend. And there's no doubt about it. The corn whiskey is so bad. So I said, no, we're not using that anymore. So I found a substitute. It's good light whiskey. It's an MGP. But man, the sweetness of it is 99% corn. So the sweetness of it is fabulous. So, yeah. Anyhow, it's a different approach, different business model. I told them, I'm a bourbon guy, but I know whiskeys. I've made a lot of different whiskeys. I've made a lot of blended whiskeys over the years as well. So
yeah, you know what a good whiskey should taste like, one way or another. You know
what my palate likes. So that's what I like.
Walker, do you want me to try to get you some of that if I can?
Yeah, let's try and get a bottle. I'm still trying to find some Continental. I got to get hooked up with our friend out here in Arizona. I finally started to get my feet under me with my job since I got changed over several months ago. So, but if you see it, go ahead and pick up a bottle. That'd be great. I
will. Did I get a bottle of Continental at Bourbon on the Banks?
Yeah, as far as that something Southern, I had nothing to do with that first batch. So
you're just trying to fix it right now.
Yeah.
So Greg. So the one last thing I'm going to say, I'll make a statement before you got to go. I know you got to go, but before you left, the Cotton Club of Chicken Cock was what started out at what, $5.99? It was a $600, or was it $4.99?
It was $500. Yeah,
$500, and then when you left, it was probably $400 or $300.
No, I think he dropped it to $300.
Right. You can pick it up right now after you left, and I stopped promoting it for $100.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay $5 for it.
I understand, but still, what I'm saying is they're just discounting the shit out of everything.
Well, that's why 99% of the people that worked for Grain and Barrel Spirits in the 7.5 years I worked for them either quit or got fired. Monty's the most arrogant, egotistical, narcissistic asshole that ever walked this earth, and they told him repeatedly. He had 3 VP of sales tell him, your prices are too high. Distributors or retailers are going to be sitting on those bottles. They're going to collect dust on the shelf. And oh, by the way, when they see that bottle, they're not going to buy another fucking bottle from you. I don't care what it is or what the price is. They just leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and that happens. So
yeah, it's going.
So do you not like the flavor of the chicken cock?
No, not at all. The Cotton Club he's talking about was something that the owner did himself. I tell people when I done tastings, I said, I have nothing to do this one. This was the owner's baby and his brainchild. He wanted to pay homage to the brand, back in the.
Yeah, but Greg, just so you know, Randy, Greg would go in and he could sell bottles of that no matter what, because he knew how to sell to people with boots on the ground. He would go in and he would always have it there, and it was this, and he could sell it to the bars, he could sell it, and he was moving that stock, right? And then as soon as he left, no more movement, because they're not doing that. And then Tyler, so this year you just have to understand how sad I was, because Tyler ran the booth, okay? And he did everything like, you like him. But at the same time, so they had the pick from Kentucky Bourbon Festival, but they had a pick or a blend or something where they used Tyler and their whatever people that had no business making a blend. And I sampled that, and it was from what chicken cock should taste like to what it tasted there. I'm like, all I said to myself is, you guys are done. You can't be putting shit out like this. Oh, God. You would have told them not to. You would have said, but there's nothing left for them to do except try.
Well, They don't even know how to do that.
I would just put
though-
all your barrels that you distilled, if I was them, and just release them as single barrels. Because that's good whiskey in there in great barrels.
Yeah.
It'd be smarter. It'd be smarter.
Walker and I have a barrel.
I'm off here, guys. I'm sorry. My battery just
Take care.
is slow.
Take care.
Love you, brother, and I'll talk
Take care, Greg.
to you
Bye,
soon.
Greg.
We'll get the date. All right,
Yeah,
good night.
bye.
Good talking to you, Greg. Bye.
Likewise. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Walker and I have a bottle or a couple of bottles of the chicken cock that was there at the bar, and it's phenomenal.
It is, yeah. And it was reasonable. It was for that
50, 80.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere between 55 and 85.
Let's see if
But I'm going to unpackage mine. I'm not going to drink it right now, but I'm going to unpackage mine. Thank you for getting this to me for Christmas, Randy.
You're welcome.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
we really liked it.
we really like it. It was good.
Boy, I had some Whiskey Thief tonight. It was phenomenal. It was a rye. It was a club pick from Smoky Mountain Bourbon Club. And it was not like the Mayday rye, but it was every bit, in my opinion, as good. Very different, apples and oranges, but still, both of them wonderful.
Yeah, and as Randy was mentioning earlier, this has Greg Snyder's name at the bottom, and it says barrel number 1, private cask. So Randy, again, thank you. That's pretty special. So I'm really excited because the only other one I had, I shared with our friend the chef third morning. So
I gotta
That's
put my
special.
glasses. Oh no, let's just try light.
Yeah.
So this one is reserve cask, and this was the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
From the previous year.
This was last year's Distillers Row. 8/23/25. I splurged for this, and it is
Yeah.
129.52 proof, one barrel 1 KBF.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I had that before they put it, I had it before the festival started.
Well,
The girl gave me some why?
No, I said,
Because I went.
no, I didn't ask why. I didn't say that. I said, well,
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, she gave me some in a little mason jar, little tiny, actually what I call a jelly jar.
Well, when
A
you
jelly jar
jars,
before it
yes.
started.
bring sample bottles when you get inducted into the Scotchy Bourbon Boys club, maybe we'll make it in the summer when John can come up and we'll induct both of you. Indict both you motherfuckers. It's gonna be jail for a week in my basement. And you two just hang out and no leaving. All you can do is drink bourbon.
Lock up the livestock.
You got a bathroom in the basement, I hope?
No shit, you've been here.
He does, yeah.
But I
out of order.
didn't use the bathroom. I didn't have to use the bathroom in the basement. I used the one upstairs.
When you were here that time, the bathroom was probably closed at the time because there was a bunch of shit in it, and we got it fixed up, and Rachel fixed it, and it's all good.
Yeah, I used it last time you were there.
Yes, you did.
It works.
It works.
The water closet flows.
So I'm gonna tell you, the Duck Club's
Well, I
pretty.
had a good time.
Duck Club's. If you can get Duck Club, the brass one, it's pretty damn good.
Now,
High brass.
I'm sorry, I was over at my friend's house tonight, so I had the sound down. Where is Duck Club out of?
Memphis.
Tennessee,
Oh,
but
that
it's
up
not.
pretty easy.
But it's not Tennessee bourbon.
Nope.
No.
Wow, caramel and cinnamon on this one. Holy shit, is that a good bottle?
John, to be more precise, it's majority bean. But
Oh, that's the Claremont one?
it's Claremont.
I'm gonna bring this one to Greg because he deserves to taste his own whiskey.
So I don't have that 25, and I probably don't need it. But thankfully, before all that stuff went down, I have this 24 from Greg at the Bourbon Festival that he got to sign when they were still on good terms, relatively speaking. So
But
that was good whiskey too.
but
Yeah, Walker and I got a bunch of them.
So, Walker.
That was fun.
that's the pick that that's when Greg was there, and that was the pick me and CT were on, and that's his first ever one. Okay, I got that too, but this pick is another year older.
Yeah.
And let's see. I'll give you get my I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At one point I'm going to have to somehow figure out how to see again.
You got to wear your cheaters with a rope around your neck when you're doing the podcast.
It's called LASIK.
So this was barreled on 8/27/2018. So this actually probably wasn't in those. This was the regular barrels, because he didn't start doing that with those barrels till 2019, I want to say. Because that's when we first met him and he was doing it. He was picking the staves for 600 barrels. So that probably was a 2018 to 2025. What's that? 8 year? 7.
Yeah, 7. 7, almost 8.
Whereas the one that where Walker has.
It's a 6 year at that time. So it would have also been an 18.
No, I believe it was a 2019.
Okay. Well, it says 6 years old.
So it was a 2018. So how do you get his shit? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Greg,
This is Greg's distillate in regular barrels, and it's good. But he didn't start putting it in his barrels where he picked all the staves till 2020.
Yeah.
So that'll be next year. I haven't been invited to any barrel picks. I should contact Stacy. So how y'all surviving the cold? Are you in ice, Randy?
Oh, you got muted.
He's trying to fix it.
Yeah, it's a bitch on the phone.
So did you have virtual class today?
I did not. It was it Friday? Yeah, it was last Friday. It was
So did you have class today?
Oh yeah. We've been in class.
No, we did not. We're not in ice, but they're calling for stuff starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon here.
He was buried in ice.
Tennessee got walloped, man. Sadly.
Where are you, Randy, right now?
I'm in East Tennessee.
Okay. No. Overall.
Are we still on everything?
Yeah, we can get off.
No?
We can get off because there's like only a few people. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Steve.
Good night, Steve.
Good night, Steve.
All right. We're off Facebook. I'll take us off. On Facebook, we have 2 people. On YouTube, we have 1. I'm not worried.
Right.
We went from 1 to 0. All right. I'm hoping for 200. Let's see what we got.
380.